All right, so we're going to break down 3 live sales calls. These are not role plays, these are real calls, and we're going to go into some mega value in this training today. The first call is going to be one of my own calls where I run through a discovery with a prospect who has a bit of, let's say, doubt and has been burned in the past by certain programs, and I talk to him about his level of commitment and his level of willingness and what he wants out of his life and why he is actually here to make change. So you'll see me do this live on a call. So if you're wondering how to create frames or how to have really great conversational skills when it comes to sales and lead prospects forward, that is an amazing call to watch. Really good stuff. And the second call is going to be a review of a live call from my performance coach, Husham, meaning he works as one of the coaches in my protocols training program. And this guy is an elite closer. He's a 20K a month closer, smashing it in the Aussie market. And you're going to see a full stack discovery from him where he gets an extremely high level of pain, urgency, and commitment from a woman that he gets to objectionless close on a ecomm biz op. Massive value there, and I'm going to break it down with you. And the third call is going to be me again handling objections. Someone who is interested in the program. I'm selling them on an offer that I was closing on last year, and they give me a bit of a hiccup, a little bit of finances, a good amount of fear and hesitation, and I have to go through and give them a perspective, challenge the way they're doing things. There's a lot of technical value in how I handle the objections on that call. So go ahead and let's dive in. Let's watch it. There's a lot we're gonna get to, a lot of value. It's a long one, so you may wanna even break this video into 2 parts if you don't have the attention span to sit down and take notes for an entire 2-hour training. But we'll dive in, let's get to it, and let's get better, let's begin to train. All right, so let's dive into our first call of today. This is a sales call that I took for our protocols training program. And this is actually a really good one. And the reason I wanted to use this, and we're going to go through, like I said in the intro, we're going to go through 3 different sales calls with all different tones and energies and different lessons to be learned. This first one is going to be a discovery that I ran. And I ran this discovery very conversationally. Sometimes I hesitate to show my calls on YouTube because the way that I sell and the way that I run my calls is oftentimes beyond what I think new sales reps should do, and I want to keep the training applicable for everyone, especially people who are maybe coming into high ticket sales or people who are building up their skill set still, people who are learning how to close, how to sell an offer. But I think there's a lot of lessons in this one, and I purposefully ran this call in a more conversational format where I didn't ask all the classic closing questions. And then I'll give you a call, the next one we're going to look at, which is from Husham, who's our performance coach inside of protocols. I'm going to show you one of his calls where he really does lean into our process and he sticks by the book and follows the process and executes very well. So I'll get to that next. First, I'll show you a call where I had a little bit of fun. And the reason I did that is because this guy's already in sales. A lot of the people who come and work with us are closers or they're setters and they want to become closers. You're making a bit of money, but not money that's by any means changing your lives, and they want to make more. So with this guy, I knew that I couldn't just give him basic ass scripting like, what's your why or why now. I mean, things like that you can generally ask, but I have to change the way in which I ask them. So I adjusted the way in which I communicated on purpose here to be able to meet him where he was at, and that's what you'll see happen in this call. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's look at the lessons and what we get from this.
It works, bro. Like,
Good to talk to you, brother. Good to talk to you.
yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
Let's jump in, bro. How these calls go. So what's going on with sales? How can we help you?
Yeah, look. So I'm really just in a position where I've invested in the mentor in the past, right? But it was a DM setting mentor. Okay, he's done great. He's done a good job, but there's just not really much scalability there. Right now, I'm just looking to invest into someone that can help me hone into my skills, really get better, like at the whole game of sales in general, not only practical sales, but just for entrepreneurship and business as a whole.
Okay.
And pretty much just for some guidance. That's really what I'm looking for.
To what outcome? Where do you want to be? That's the first.
So the reason why I immediately ask him to what outcome is because anytime I hear someone telling me I just want to get knowledge or get information or get better at something as a whole, don't forget to use this in your calls, or as you really run your sales calls, embody this, lean into this. The stuff I'm telling you here is going to be really helpful. I don't want to allow someone to say, I'm just looking for information or to get better. because that has no real tangible outcome. We can't define what just getting better means or what just looking for information as a whole means. I need that to be tied into some kind of tangible outcome because that's what they're paying me for. So if someone comes on a call, let's say that you're a coach who sells, or let's say you're a sales rep who's selling, and someone says, I came for information, or I came because I love what you guys do and I wanted to be better at this area or this thing. I wanted information, I wanted to increase my knowledge. The answer itself is not bad. It's not something I need to punish them for saying. I don't need to challenge them on anything. But at the same time, I need the answer to stretch into something tangible, because if the person's going to invest income, if they're going to invest their hard-earned money in this, there needs to be a tangible return on investment. And them just getting knowledge and getting some awareness or being better doesn't really lead to, it does lead to them making more money and having results, yes, but it's not necessarily a tangible, measurable outcome. So when I pitch them something that's $5,000 or $10,000, I need a number, and I need them to associate where they want to be versus where they are right now. That's a key component of how I teach sales and what I give to the sales reps that I mentor, that I train, and what I give to the coaches that I work with, and that's something you can apply.
The whole.
Okay.
And pretty much just for some guidance. That's really what I'm looking for.
See, he says, I'm looking for some guidance. I need more than that, because some guidance is not enough to invest several $1,000s, mid four figures into a coaching program. Like some guidance, you could get that from YouTube videos, or join a community and talk to some rep who's made a little bit of more money than you. You can get some guidance there. So I need more than that.
Looking for.
To what outcome? Where do you want to be? That's the first part. Like, what's the goal?
The goal. Okay.
And I am playing this at 1.5 speed. So it sounds like we're talking really fast, because this is actually at speed right now. So normally we're talking a lot slower in pace. Like I'm communicating slower, more calmly than it appears on this playback.
The goal is
Near term. Let's say 6 months.
in 6 months. I want to have a good solidified position in a good closing role.
Gotcha. So you want to be closing deals. So what's the income goal for you?
So see how I don't settle with that? Better answer. Now he says I want to be I tangibly want to be in a good closing role, but I don't settle with that. Instead, I say, how much do you want to be making when you're in that role? Because it's not enough for you to just want to have a role. How much do you want to be making?
Deal. So what's the income goal for you?
I want to be aiming for in AUD about 10 to 15K. So that's about 7K US.
You should in USD, bro. I don't think in
Okay.
AUD.
Okay, USD then probably.
Do you know Husham? Do you know Husham Abul Qasim?
What's that?
You know Husham? I think he knows you. Husham Abul Qasim. He's a
I'm telling him about Husham, who's our performance coach. We're going to look at his call next, but I'm giving him a case study. It's something that we do in sales. It's a really powerful training, a technique that I don't see anyone else teach but us. Using a case study is basically taking someone who is not the person you're speaking to and using them as an outside example of what success could look like realistically. You do this through honesty. You don't do this with deceit. You don't lie, but you give a case study that's based on truth and based on the reality of where this person could be. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just giving him a quick little case study using Husham, who's a very talented rep, who's made 20K months consistently this year, letting him understand that someone else who is in the Australian market, because this guy's in the Aussie market, can push hard.
Husham Abul Qasim. He's a closer in the Aussie market. He used to work
Oh,
for
yeah.
So Husham's our guy. He's actually a coach in our firm. He's a performance coach. And he's a closer now. But I mentored him for like 6 months. And he's doing like 20K AUD, something like that. But he's pissed because it's not all USD. We got to think these numbers in USD, bro.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I am having a little bit of fun here. And that's why I said this first call is going to be a little bit more conversational and cheeky. And then I'll show you Husham's. And then I'm going to show you a call with me handling some objections. That'll be really fire. But you can see here, I'm still not letting him off the hook, because even he says I want to make XYZ Australian dollars. Even that I'm not going to let him get away with. It's nothing bad that he said. He didn't say anything wrong, but I'm just saying I won't let that be your standard, because we can aim for US dollars just because the conversion is higher. If you would have said euros, by the way, which has higher conversion than the US dollar, I wouldn't have said anything. Or if he said pounds, I wouldn't have said anything. But in this case, he said Australian dollars, so I am going to challenge it because I want to increase like the level in which he aims. I want to expand the comfort zone. I want to get him just a little bit uncomfortable.
We got to think these numbers in USD, bro.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, what's the reason behind that?
It's just higher number. The US dollars like the gold standard or whatever. Like everyone, for now, every country backs on. So when you think USD, you're just going to get paid more in Aussie comps. Are you working in the US market, or are you working Aussie hours?
Currently US hours.
Okay, gotcha. Tell me what the game now then for you. What's going on with your closing journey? Like, you're a setter right now. Are you doing anything to try to bump up to close, or are you just knowing you need mentorship to get there? Like, what's the situation?
So if you've studied any of our scripting and any of our language, if you're inside of our school community, which I'd really recommend you join, we're actually running live free trainings in there again starting the 15th. So that this video should go out, I think, This video should be out on Monday. So we're starting live trainings in our school community starting this week as this video comes out. Every week, live training on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would strongly recommend join our school community and check that out. And it's a massive amount of value for you. We're going to have call reviews and everything. So one thing that's interesting here is I'm asking him like the question, what have you done to try to achieve XYZ goal? This is a question that we do teach to our reps. Now, I'm not going to ask him the question, what have you done to try to achieve it? I'm not going to ask him that way. I'm going to ask him in a way, we call this Trojan horsing, that masks the way the question's being asked so it doesn't trigger his sales defenses. Because he's in the sales space, so he knows what sales script he is. He knows that. And again, this is a little bit more advanced, okay, but there's still very powerful lessons here that you can take if you appreciate psychology, leadership, and you sell anything. If you're a coach or a consultant or you are a closer, this is going to make you money. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm asking him the question in a way that doesn't undermine his intelligence, because he's a smart guy. I know Alex, he's a smart guy. And the way I'm asking him the question is not undermining his intelligence, meaning I'm not just asking him like some corny script. I'm asking him the question in a way that's highly conversational, intuitive, and is going to allow him to lean into it from a conversational frame. Remember this, if you're one of the few people who's going to take this very seriously and take this training real seriously, most people won't, but if you're one of those few people who is very serious about making change and wants to make a bunch of money, whether you're a sales rep or whether you're a coach, one of the things that I want you to be clear on is the nuances of how you deliver information, because all information is not equal. It is not. All information is not delivered equal, I should say. So the way I'm asking him this question, I could say, which some closers, even closers who are teaching sales would say, so what have you done to try to get to XYZ? I'm mixing the question with a lot more scripting. I'm using a lot more outside language that's a little bit light but still strong. That's going to cause him to give me a solid answer. So listen to how I asked
What's going on with your closing journey? Like, you're a setter right now. Are you doing anything to try to bump up to close, or are you just knowing you need mentorship to get there? Like, what's this?
So what I did is I niched the question down. Instead of saying, what are you doing? I said, you're a setter right now. Are you trying to bump up to closer? And like, what are you doing to try to make it happen? And then I give him another option. I say, or are you just, I think I said complacent where you're at, something like that. So you can hear my scripting. I'll slow it down and play it at normal speed just so we can hear this question in real time.
Currently US hours.
Okay. Gotcha. Tell me like the game now then for you. What's going on with your closing journey? Like, you're a setter right now. Are you doing anything to try to bump up to close, or are you
doing anything to bump up to close?
You need mentorship to get there, or like, what's the situation?
That's what I said. Or do you know you just need mentorship to get there? What's the situation? So I'm opening up a conversation on what he's done, what he's doing.
I'm obviously trying a lot of things, trying to like mock with a couple of people on the community.
Okay.
But I was gonna say, yeah, and look, I'm really looking for guidance because, for example, the current coach that I'm on, he's saying like he's interested to get me into a closing role for this company.
Yeah.
Right? But there's no real time frame for that, and I don't really know how long I'm gonna be setting for, and I feel like I'm ready in the first place to take that position yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to sales, and I like that one thing you mentioned is work on skill set. I respect that a lot because a lot of sales reps don't think it's that, but you do. So great. What is it that you want to work on skills wise? Like, what's missing from you? Right.
The reason I'm asking him this, what he wants to work on skill wise, is because if I can tangibly identify what it is that he wants to work on when it comes to skill, if I can identify that and make that very, very clear, then I'll be able to use that as leverage when I pitch. So I can pitch him something very particular to what he feels like he needs. That's why I'm asking him that. I'm saying, what are you missing when it comes to skill? So that when I then pitch, I can break down to him exactly how it'll help him in relationship to what it is that he believes he needs. That's why I'm asking the question in this way.
Yeah.
What's missing from me is, I suppose, asking questions in which I know what type of outcome I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Sometimes I tend to ask because it's like a good probing question, but then
And by the way, quick thing, if you're selling a biz op, let's say that you're selling ecomm coaching, and it's for people who are complete beginners. This guy right here is not a complete beginner in sales. He's been around. Like, Alex has been a setter. He's done some closing. He's been in the game. So he's done role plays. So I know that he's logically aware of what it takes to actually succeed in sales. So I can ask him from a skill set standpoint what's missing. But if you're selling a biz op, let's say you're selling information to people who might be some kind of beginner level. If you're selling information to them, the way that you're going to want to ask these questions is not going to be about what's missing when it comes to the skill, because they don't have information to actually give you there. They won't know because they're not doing anything. Instead, the questions I'm going to ask are related to what's missing in your life right now that's for why you don't have XYZ outcome. Meaning, I'm not going to say, in terms of ecomm, what's missing? Instead, I'm going to say, in terms of you having freedom to be able to invest back in your family online, I guess, what have you done to try to fix that? So I'll go broad, not about what we do in our industry. If they're not a buyer who's more technical, in this case, Alex is, he has more information and more data around this industry. So I can have that conversation with him. But if they're a person who's a complete biz op or hasn't done anything, I'm not going to ask them the technicals. Let's say that you're a fitness coach. I'll give an example. Let's say you sell fitness and you have a fitness coaching program. You have a program where you mentor people for 6 months. You charge them $3,500 for 6 months, which is kind of low, but let's pretend that's what you do. And you get someone who has not tried any fitness at all, and they say, okay, this is the year I need to take my life into my hands. I need to get into shape. If that's the conversation you're going to have with them, or if that's where they're coming from, you wouldn't ask them, okay, what workouts are you struggling with? Because they're not going to operate on the level of technicality. They're going to operate instead on the level of, I just need to start. So the questions I would ask is, what has prevented you from actually taking charge of your health in the first place and getting to a point where you have the confidence, you have the body, you have the lifestyle that you want? I won't go on what's hard about the exercises or what's hard about the dieting because they aren't doing it, so there isn't going to be enough data or information there. Does that nuance make sense? Hopefully it does. I forget sometimes that I'm not running live coaching because I coach in protocols. We train 9 times a week. So I forget that I'm not doing live coaching. So when I say, does that make sense? I'm expecting people to nod back at me, but no, I'm speaking to you on YouTube. So let's continue.
Okay, what did I really gain from that? And maybe even a little bit of like human psychology in the way that I go about talking to actual people or adapting people.
So understanding buying psychology and sales psychology more and being able to implement life. Gotcha.
Right.
How old are you now?
Me 19.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And how much money are you making currently?
Look, it really.
So this is me creating a gap from where he wants to be versus where he is now. I'm just throwing this in. It's not really sexy how I'm doing it, and trust me, I have a lot of calls that are real sexy and smooth. This one's bumpy, but I'm doing a lot of solid things in this call that are still relevant and you guys can learn from. So in this one, I'm just throwing out income gap. I'm like, where do you want to be versus where you are now? Let's just knock that out.
In life.
Right.
Gotcha. How old are you now?
Me 19.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And how much money are you making currently?
Look, it really varies. In USD,
Of course.
like
In AUD is fine. AUD is okay. What do you do in AUD? Like
AUD is about
3, 4?
no, really around 2 to 3, not really much. Just from sales, 2 to 3. Not much from sales.
Gotcha. Easy. In terms of you going into a closing role, so the biggest thing you think that's holding you back right now is it just skill or is it opportunities as well?
Yeah, opportunities as well.
Opportunities. Okay. What are you looking for out of a mentor, out of a coach? Like, what's the things that you're looking for to align with?
I suppose just.
So the reason I asked this question is because I had prior information from the SDR who had booked him on a call. I had information that he's been around coaching before and has had some pretty poor experiences with coaching, wasn't happy with the experiences he had previously. So I was just saying, I'm going to figure out what he really wants, what he really thinks that he needs, and I'm going to use that as an anchor. Something else that I could have done, I didn't choose this path, but a path that would have been really fine for me to go down also earlier, a second ago, would have been asking him, is he happy with the kind of money he's making right now? And had a conversation around that and the frustration with the kind of money he's making. Now, here's what I'll tell you. If he was not in sales already, he had never been in sales or he wasn't around sales actively, then I probably would have asked him that. But I know that there's more data and information that I can get right now around his sales journey because he has been in the game of sales and does understand it. And I understood that he has a decent level of awareness about sales coming in. So I figured I'm going to have a conversation with him on the level of sales, not on the level of I'm just not making money, which also I should have. And I think I might go into that here. I didn't watch this whole call back before the review. I know there's a lot of sauce here. But I wanted to just experience it live with you guys as we review it here to keep the training, with a high level of quality and integrity. I don't want to prepare everything beforehand. So I believe that I probably go into some of those things, like where does he want to be, all those things, in terms of, his desires and consequence. I believe I do that. But as of right now, the focus of my conversation is still going to be technical sales because I know that I can do that with him because he is technically aware of how sales works.
I suppose just, well, of course, guidance in the first place.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Being able to...
But they all offer, everyone offers guidance, like supposedly. So what are those metrics you're looking for? So, hey, this makes the most sense, and this is the thing I was looking for is the indicator.
That's why I'm doing it, because I'm aware from my notes from my SDR, I was aware that he has a lot of hesitation before coming in, and because he has been around other things before that maybe had not worked out for him. So I was very aware of that, and I wanted to pitch against that. I believe that's where my head was going into this.
I suppose accountability is a big part of it, right? Mm-hmm. So having at least some type of accountability system, just making sure that it's easy to let yourself down. It's not easy to let others down. So it's always good to kind of build yourself up from there. Something else is really just the content, like the actual modules or whatever you may do, modules or this or that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And coach, I like coaching calls as well. They're really something I look for.
Yeah, gotcha. Makes sense. And why high ticket sales for you? Because you're very young and you're pursuing this. I assume you're pursuing this instead of a traditional 9 to 5 pathway. So tell me about your journey. Why are you doing this? What's going on?
Yeah, good question.
So this, what I'm doing here, and again, guys, this is not scripting you're going to hear everywhere. You're not hearing this shit everywhere. And I know that it might be a little confusing. Well, I was thinking, do I put this out on YouTube? But I'm going to trust you guys with this information, and I'm going to trust that you watching this can actually handle it and can see the nuances in it, okay? Because all information is not going to be delivered the same. And I know it might be a little confusing, potentially. Not for everyone, but some people will be confused. But I wanted to give you guys a nice spectrum of sales, right? And I'm going to put another video out on the channel in a few days, something that you guys will love, which was an advanced training that we ran with our level 3+ sales reps, who are the advanced sales reps inside of our coaching program, where I run a full stack discovery with them, where I train them on how to frame identities and how to get people to buy into belief systems, which is a very, very powerful sales strategy to use, whether you're selling a coaching service, your own coaching program, or whether you're a closer. You know, it's very powerful to use this. But what I wanted to do is show you guys a nice spectrum of different ways of selling and different lessons that you can get from a wide variety of sales calls. Okay, that's what I'm giving to you guys here. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to figure out now what his driver is. A driver is a very important thing in sales. Certain people are motivated by different things. People are motivated by different things. Some people are going to be more motivated by family. Some people are going to be more motivated by selfish ambition. Selfish doesn't mean a bad thing. So when people hear selfish, they're like, "Ah, he's selfish." Fuck no. I think being selfish is amazing. I'm super selfish. It's the things I want in my life. Some people are motivated by external things, like proving to other people, hey, I can do this, right? So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to figure out what his actual motivation is to take action, and his actual motivation is to be committed here on the call to reinvesting in training, even though he has gotten training and he has maybe to an extent been burned. That's what I'm trying to do here, is figure out what the level of motivation is and stretch that gap, stretch the motivation so that I can use it as an anchor to get him to make a buying decision, which is a positive buying decision, provided our program actually works for him.
A traditional 9 to 5 pathway. So tell me about your journey. Why are you doing this? What's going on?
Yeah, good question. So with my journey, I've always been an entrepreneur, really, ever since I was like 14 years old. I even started selling soccer courses back in the day, right? For soccer. I was 14 years old, and then I would have like a clothing line, and then I had like my own media agency, and they all went well. But after stopping like my clothing line, that went actually not too bad. But after stopping that, I thought to myself, what do I do next? And I thought, instead of jumping from place to place, why not actually learn, let's just say sales, something that can translate into any of my ventures. So that's kind of why I'm looking to high ticket sales specifically, because yeah, it's a skill that I just want to learn, and yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And what's the driver behind it? Like, what's the why fueling all this? Kind of like the future pace. Like future pace yourself. Like, where are you moving towards? Where are you going to with all this?
Oh man.
So I'm telling him it's a future pace because I know he knows what that language is. So I'm just going to break the fourth wall and say, fuck it, let's just use the language and stop pretending we're not doing sales, because I don't like running my calls that way. If any of you ever get on a demo call with me, two things you can expect. And there's no link to book a demo with me here, by the way. If you want to work with us, you have to book a strategy call, which is a 15-minute call where we'll see if we can help you. We don't pitch you anything on the first call. We have a rule where we do not do that. I actually don't let my team pitch anyone on the first call. But if we do book a demo, two things are going to happen. One, we're going to have a lot of fun. And if you like sales, and if you like this game, or at least you want to make a lot of money in the game, you'll learn a lot by seeing how I communicate with you, and how I lead the conversation with you. You'll learn and see what I'm doing if you really like this game. That's number one. And then number two, I will challenge you. So a lot of times people come off demos with me, and they're like, my beliefs have been exposed, my limiting beliefs, the way in which I see the world, a lot of that's been exposed and been challenged, which is really cool. So I do a lot of that. So here, what I'm doing is I'm trying to really figure out what's driving him to take action and driving him to even be on the call with me. I get he wants training. He said some nice things so far, but it's not enough. I need him to give me a driving, motivating factor behind what is causing him to go from this current state he's in to actually take on the risk and discomfort of investing more income, more money, which it is a risk because you don't know what happens when you invest. You can guess, and you can trust that it's what the person selling you has said it would be, but you don't know, of course. So I'm trying to figure out and create energy around his motivation to take action here and now and to actually do this. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm pushing more for a driver.
Kind of like future pace. Like future pace yourself. Like, where are you moving towards? Where are you going to with all this?
Oh man, dude, I just want to be able to have like a remote freedom to just be able to travel like, all over the world while still being able to hone in on my skills and
Well, you have the remote now. You have the remote, probably not the freedom, because in order to travel anywhere, you don't need money for that.
Right.
You need to get cash money coming through the door.
Of course.
Okay. So you want to, the goal, what is the kind of what we call in our program the holy grail for you? What is it? Travel.
What is driving me to do all that?
Well, no, I'm saying what's the holy grail for you? It's travel? It's just travel?
Yeah, pretty much just travel, man. I love to travel.
Okay. Travel where?
So he's given me, I want to travel. I don't like the fact that he said just travel, but I'm not going to pick that battle. I hear the language. It's still very minimizing. Like, I don't need much. But what I'm going to do is something called labeling. Stick with me, guys. Listen in, okay? I'm going to do something called labeling. Labeling is where I get the prospect to assign something tangible and something real to the thing they said they want to do. So if someone says, I want to be stronger, I would say, well, what kind of weight do you want to lift? Or if they say, I want to make money, how much do you want to make? So he said, I want to travel. Where do you want to travel? Because if he tells me the place where, then it becomes more real. Another version of labeling or adding, we call it also adding context in to what the root of what the prospect gives me would be. I also could ask him when he's in a position doing that, what would that feel like to him? And attach a feeling and an emotional state to it, right? There's a bunch of ways I can build this up and make it real, make it tangible. And what I've seen from a lot of sales reps, what a lot of you guys watching this will do. It's not just sales reps, but I see this a lot even with coaches who sell their own offers, people who sell online, because sales is very difficult. It is very hard. It's hard because you're doing something unnatural. You were taking money from someone, and it's not natural to ask someone or to look for someone to give you their resources. That's not a natural thing to do. So when I see sales reps who or coaches or consultants who are selling their services, what they'll do a lot of times is they'll take surface level answers and they won't build them into anything bigger. So someone will say, yeah, I want to make more money. And they'll say, what kind of money are we talking? But maybe that's about it. They'll get like a range. They won't get a very clearly identifiable number or a clearly identifiable future. If someone tells me I want to give back to my family, I'm not just going to say, that's awesome. That's not enough. I'm going to say, give back to your family. How? In what way? What does that look like? Paint me a picture of that. When you say give back, and how tangibly would you give back? That's what we do. That's how we play it. Okay?
Pretty much just travel, man. I love to travel.
Okay. Travel where?
Probably over Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Budapest, come kicking in Budapest with us. We just had a huge Budapest intensive
was it?
Budapest together. It was amazing. 12 of our sales reps came out. We have these, we're doing these 2 to 4 times a year. Next one's Miami. You know what? I want to do one in Australia. We don't have enough clients in Australia. So and I don't think everyone in the US is going to go fly out to Australia.
It's a long distance.
Yeah. I've been. I lived in Melbourne for a while. I love
0.5 speed because I think that it's a little fast and some of you may not move as fast paced as I do and the way we train it. So I'll slow it down just a little bit.
I lived in Melbourne for a while. I love Australia. I love Australia. Yeah. It's a great place and great people. I think the girls are baddies too. At least they like me because I'm American and all the others, they thought I was exotic or some shit, you know?
Yeah. That's what they look for here, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Travel, etc. So what about your family structure? Is there anyone there that's like that you're taking care of that you want to get back to or help? Or it's not a biggest driver for you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm 19.
So what I'm doing here is it's simple. I'm searching for any other outside motivation that isn't just travel. I'm very obvious, but I want to see if there's another thing I can bring in as a driver that isn't just I want to travel.
Student here, or college, whatever you got.
You're still at university.
Yeah, correct.
How are you going to balance closing and uni, man?
Oh, look, I'm studying a business course, so it's pretty easy, right? I've been doing it pretty much for like even while on this US role, like I don't have to attend the actual in-person lectures. It's all easy content to learn, and it just fucking takes itself. It's horrible, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty much give back to my family. Obviously, I'm still living under their roof here, and I still want to just make that. Pretty basic answer, but like it's a big driver, of course.
Okay, it's not the first driver you mentioned though. So I'm guessing it's not number one. It's not the thing fueling you though. I don't think it is. It wouldn't make sense because you would have mentioned it first.
Yeah, true.
And it's fine if it is. By the way, a lot of our guys, one of our guys, Stavros, he's a
I'll skip this.
He's very
Some stuff about one of our clients, Stavros. I won't put it
personal freedom. His fully growth through this. Let's say plateau or break past this mark of 10K. Let's say 10K USD for now. We'll just go back because that's up to 15K Australian dollars. So let's say 10K USD, not breaking past that. Whether it's sales or something else, because I don't think you're the kind of person who's going to give up. So
okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going consequence. And some of you know the consequence. You've heard of like how to go consequence. You have to see the downside of you, or it's the consequence of success, right?
About what?
Downside.
So when I ask downside scripting to prospects, I don't really want to ask them, what's the consequence if you don't make change? Because what a lot of people will do is they'll say, I will make change, or they'll say, I'll do something else. Remember this, guys. If you're struggling with consequence questions and you're struggling with asking people, okay, like if you don't make change and if you don't achieve XYZ result, what happens? What will happen usually is often, I'm sure you've experienced this if you're selling anything, you'll deal with people saying, well, that's not going to happen, or I am going to make change. Because people just, that's how they tend to answer that question. So when I ask consequence, and we changed our scripting actually from what we used to do, but what I go is, what is your downside? Because the intent of consequence is saying the intent of the consequence stage, or as I call it, fear stage, is like, what do we fear happening? What is it that we do not want to happen in our future that we're quote unquote running away from? So what I say when I ask consequence now is, I don't say what's the consequence or what happens if you don't make change. I just ask, what is your downside? You being in a position where you haven't made changes, what's the downside to that? And then what I'll do is I'll wipe away the most likely answer. So if the prospect would probably say, I'll do something else that's not this, I'll say, and I'm not even talking about doing something else. I'm talking about you not achieving what you set out to achieve. Boom, they can't use that now. I'll just do something else because I said we're not going to talk about that. Or they'll say that won't happen. Or they'll say, another big one is, nothing would change. So when I get that, when I hear them saying nothing would change, well, they don't say it actually, but if I predict they'll say it, and this is why you want to understand human behavior and tendencies, why you want to run a lot of calls and get a lot of experience, because you can predict what people will say. A lot of people will say, oh, no, I think that nothing would change. I would stay the same. So what I'll do before they say that is I'll just say, and I know things would stay the same. So what's the downside of things staying the same as you get older or as time goes on? Now they have to answer me within the context of the problem of things staying the same now. So they can't tell me it would just stay the same. You see? Very fun stuff.
Taking responsibility for his own life, which I like. I respect it. What's the other side for you, the downsides? Let's talk that. What are you running away from?
About what?
Downside not achieving freedom online, of kind of going.
Do you see how I didn't say the downside of not making it with high ticket sales? Because he could very easily say, I'll just do something else. I'll go to do ecomm, or I'll start a different business. So instead of me saying downside of not doing high ticket sales, I said downside of not achieving freedom.
And attempting to break through this let's say plateau, or break past this mark of 10K, let's say 10K USD for now. We'll just go with that because that's up to 15K Australian dollars. So let's say 10K USD, not breaking past that, whether it's just sales or something else, because I don't think you're the kind of person who's going to give up. So if it wasn't sales, it'd be something else. I think you're trying to figure it out. So I'm not asking that, but if you didn't break through that, what's the downsides to your life personally? What do things look like as you go into your 20s? Can't make that happen.
Yeah, so the real consequences, I suppose, are...
You just changed my language. I did not say consequence. That's a downside.
So you see, this was great because he's a closer. So in his mind, he heard me say, what's the consequence? And I did not say that. I never said consequences. I said, what are the downsides? So he's using language that he thinks I would be asking, because I'm going to follow the script, which I'm not doing. I'm using our own method and process here, which is using downside language. It's different.
You just changed my language. I did not say consequence. That's a downside. Sure. If you want to force me into a consequence question, go ahead, Alex. I didn't say that. I said downside.
I actually don't like that I had a lot of fun on this call. If I really wanted to use this as a call to train you guys on, like, which I am doing now, but if I had gone with this intention when I ran the call, I would be a lot more grounded. Don't do this. What I'm doing, I'm fucking around and having fun, because I run my demos like just a lot of fun. But when I'm on an offer closing full time, like it's not necessarily my offer. So even if it is my offer, actually, I'm oftentimes much more grounded. So again, I like having fun. There's nothing wrong with good energy. But for a lot of closers or even coaches who are running programs, you shouldn't be this engaging and fun on your calls, because the energy begins to get too soft and the prospect doesn't take it as seriously. I know, though, that I can still create very strong frames even while having a generally good time. But you'll see, actually, I'm going to show you guys a call later where I handle objections, and I get this guy to actually commit to pay, and then he had to make a deposit because the payments and stuff got declined. So I had to settle for that, and then he came back and finished it later. But I have a call like that where I'll show you guys me on a offer that I closed on last year. Not my own offer. I was working for someone as a sales rep, and you'll see how I ran through objections, very grounded, very serious.
Really, the main downsides are look, it's really just about falling into the same trap that most of other people fall into. What I mean by that is, people try things. It's like the shiny object syndrome, and they stop. Right? I know that once I reach a certain point where most people stop and I just keep going, I know that's when I'll kind of hit the mark that I'm like, okay, I'm really happy with what I'm doing, right? And the downside is not actually hitting that mark and not being able to. Obviously,
I was about to challenge him because I thought he was going to say, I'll get there no matter what. But then he went back and answered my question and said the downside is, so I'm still good. You see the nuance, guys? He started with, I want to hit a mark that most people don't or something. He said, I just keep going. So I was like, you're telling me you're not going to fail and you'll just keep going, which is what a lot of people would say. So I was about to cut him off and challenge that, but then he recovers and he says, but if I didn't hit that, so good, we have an answer.
Not actually hitting that mark and not being able to obviously carry out the remoteness, not really having good knowledge inside of sales, so I can't really carry
Yep.
that over in other aspects of life.
Yep.
And obviously, not being able to travel then because I can't fix my.
What would that look like, or for your young, what would it feel like for you? Because you're 19 right now, so let's say 22, 20.
So here's an interesting one. What I want to do is you want to associate a feeling with consequence, because the consequence, I told you guys I would do this earlier. I said I was going to do this, right? You want to associate a feeling with the consequence. You don't want to just go, okay, I couldn't travel. That's it. We want to go, what would the feeling be of being stuck in that position? And the way that we do that, though, is not what I'm doing here is a little bit different. Instead of me just saying, what would it feel like? I'm actually adding in more context, and I'm doing something called timeline creation, where I'm creating a timeline of his life. I'm looking at his age, and I'm adding in times and dates. I'm saying, you're going to be this age, this age, this age. So as time progresses, which is a very real construct, what would that feel like? Does that make sense?
What would that look like, or for your young, what would it feel like for you? Because you're 19 right now, so let's say 22, 23, and let's say and I don't believe this is going to happen, so we don't project this. I'm not manifesting this in any way. I believe success will happen for you, but I want to look at both sides. And if you close, you should do the same for everyone you talk to. So for you, like, what would that feel like, let's say age 22, 23, and kind of being at a place where I think you'd end up making some more money in some way, or you were settling for like 5K, 6K, or something like that. Classic path everyone else takes without a lot of that freedom. What would the feeling associated with that be?
Like disappointment for sure.
Yeah.
You see how I labeled the question so well? I basically gave him the answer. I didn't give him the answer, but I gave him the context to be able to answer the question very well. Now he gives me an amazing answer. I said, you being fast forward the time, you being in this certain position, life looks like this, what would the feeling be? You hear his energy crashes too. He's like, yeah, it would be disappointing because it's heavy.
How do you feel like mentorship and coaching fits into not making that happen?
Now this is where this is saucy. So instead of me just going, and do you want to settle for that? That's basic scripting. It's basic shit, which is good. That's okay, but we can get even better. All right. And I want to teach my reps to do better than that even. What I'll do now is I'm telling him the action you're about to take, or that you said you're on or appear to be on the call to take. How does this action you want to take here with me fit into not allowing that consequence to happen in your life? Connect the dots, connect it all together.
Yeah. How do you feel like mentorship and coaching fits into not making that happen? And this is actually, I think, a very difficult question to answer if you think about really the meaning of it. I'm not asking like a corny, like, why do you want us to mentor you, bro? Like, why now? Fuck that. That's stupid. I'm asking.
And I'm doing this. I'm calling him out because I don't want him to go into basic closer thinking, because I know all the good answers to answer. I don't want him to do that. I want him to actually think about this and add weight to it.
Can you actually, to make that future not happen, how do you think mentorship and coaching fits into the whole game you're playing, the puzzle of Alex's life that he's trying to build, where he builds this amazing, beautiful journey for himself, freedom? How does mentorship fit in and secure a better future for yourself?
Oh man, it fits in by having, I suppose, a system or people to kind of fall back on, and that's a really good question.
It's a hard one. I like what you said about the system, because I think I know the answer to this because I talk about it a lot with our clients. But I always like to know where people are coming from before they come in and work with us, whether you decide to work with us or not. Still, if you do, I want to know who you are and who I'm working with before I close you. So go back to system, because you said a life system. That's something I believe in. But when you say system, what does that mean exactly? Like, system in what sense?
Our system.
So he gave a good answer. He kind of shied away because he's like, how do I lean into it? And then I said, let's push again. Let's go again. That's all. This is more advanced, and this is a lot of leadership stuff I'm doing here, a lot of leadership communication that you all can do. You all can adopt this for a fact, but it's valuable.
When you say system, what does that mean exactly? Like, system in what sense?
Our system, I suppose, it really comes down to values, of course, right? A system of values and a system of just I don't know how to explain. It's like development. It's one of those things that's tricky to explain, but like it'll fit in nicely. Yeah, bro, this is a really good question.
Here's what I'm telling you. I'll give you some thoughts. Tell me how you feel, and then I'll pitch you.
So he's struggling to answer it. So I just decided, let me give him context more, give him a thought that he can bite onto, and then I want to ask how he relates to the thought. Because if I can get how he relates to the thought, that means that the identity of being an action taker, of wanting to use the system, like he just said, becomes more real. So he can't really answer the question. Maybe it was deep, and it's something that would require more discussion from, maybe a longer conversation with him. But I asked him the question still. I liked how it landed. I don't feel bad that he couldn't answer it because it caused him to think and it created a lot of friction and tension internally, which is what I wanted it to do. But now I'm going to explain the question out more and then revisit the thoughts with him and see how he attaches to those thoughts.
Like it'll fit in nicely. Yeah, bro, this is a really good question.
Here's what I'm telling you. I'll give you some thoughts. Tell me how you feel, and then I'll pitch you because I think we can help. I think you'd be a great fit. But here's my thoughts on it. So I think that everyone operates under a different like operating system in life. I actually just talked about this in the intensive we had in Budapest for our students. Everyone has a different operating system, right? You look at people who are kind of coasting in life. Maybe you have friends like this. I have friends like this in school. They're just coasting. They're in the same position, right? Maybe they made a little bit extra money, but they're kind of in a state of cope, right? Where I like to call it the haze. They're just hazing through life. They're operating through an operating system. It tells them that that's who they are, and that's what they deserve, and that's what they should be. When I found mentorship, and I've invested a lot in coaching and mentors, I think you, for a 19-year-old, have invested also in mentors. So I think we're speaking the same language here. I don't think you have like an objection about investing in yourself, if that makes sense. We both invested in training, right? One thing.
I'm not even going to go into the psychology of what I'm doing here because it's too dense. It just like there's a lot that I'm saying in that sentence, in that structure. I'm basically pre-framing him and pre-qualifying him as someone who would invest in himself, but not doing it in a very basic way. I'm doing it by paralleling him to me because I know he watches our stuff. So I know that if I can say me and you think very similarly, I'll have a lot more influence over how he makes a decision later on. That's what I'm doing. And again, if you get in a demo call with me, I'm going to use this shit on you because I know I can make you money. But if you're a good fit for us too, if I don't want to work with you, I'm not going to pitch you, but which I do sometimes. I don't pitch people sometimes, but generally, if I think I can help you, I'm going to use every fucking tactic in the book on you, and I will manipulate you and take all your money. Not all your money, just several thousand of your money. Okay, that sounded oddly aggressive, but I want to make you money. That's why. And I'm very passionate about this shit. I love sales and I love coaching. I love communication. So I'm having a good time.
So I think we're speaking the same language here. I don't think you have like an objection about investing in yourself, if that makes sense. We both invested in training, right? One thing I found with mentors is that you're creating a system and putting building blocks into the life that you want to live. And I see mentors as just assets and tools. So like the fitness mentor that I'm considering investing in, he's going to be an asset that's a part of the operating system of my life, which is mastery over every domain as a man. That's what I'm trying to do now. Because the money side, I pretty much have that taken care of. I could always have more, but I'm doing quite well there. But the other things that don't get taken care of is like mental balance and fitness. I'm seriously lacking it to invest all my time in closing sales and business, right? So that's what I mean by system. How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
So you see how I didn't say, do you agree? I said, how do you feel? Because I want to know his feelings around it. I don't know if he gives a great answer or not, but that's what I asked.
All my time in closing sales and business, right? So that's what I mean by system. How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I like to look at it as I'm trying to max out my stats, like the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good that you're addressing money early in that at the age of 19. Cash and money is the thing you're gonna address because that sets a foundation. And also the other thing I love about sales, I don't think I need to tell you this, like you're not learning anything new by hearing this, but I think it's still interesting, is that sales builds character. Remote sales, like high ticket sales builds character because you're talking to so many people, getting on calls daily with people, confronting like fears and things like that and handling shit. Like it's tough. So it builds character, builds leadership. Cool, man. Let's talk about protocols. Okay, I'll tell you what we do and how it all works.
I go ahead and pitch him then. Sometimes I'll ask a commitment question, and I do this sometimes on our demos when I feel like it's needed. I felt like I had gotten enough from him. I felt like he was enough of a pocket. And funny enough, this is a great lesson, guys. He actually does give me objections, but he doesn't give me deep objections that are based on fear around investing or any of that. His objections, we were in it for a bit. His objections are more based on time zones because he's in Australia and sorting out, can he actually maximize the value of the program? So we stayed in that for a while. I made him kind of not a deal, but I told him, come in, use it, and then if you feel like you're not maximizing value, then we'll sort out what happens next, and we'll try to work with you to get you to maximize the value. And he ended up coming in on a payment plan. So closed him, great guy. He did a bit of our program, and then he had to take some time for personal reasons and logistical sleep schedule reasons being in Australia. So there was that. Good close. We're going to look at a really good one next. We're going to look at the call from Husham. We'll take a little, I'll pause and then I'll come back and start a new video. But we're going to look at a call from Husham where he closes how big was this deal size? What did he close? I forgot the number. I think it was over 20K. I think it was a 25K deal. He closed a 25K deal on an ecomm offer, where he pitches this woman on ecomm coaching for her to grow her first ecomm business. It's a biz op. It's one of the biggest ecomm offers in the Australian market. And Husham is an elite level closer. He's actually the performance coach inside of our protocols training program. So all of our clients who come in and work with us in the protocols container, they work with myself. They work with our head coach, discovery coach Charlie. They work with our performance coach Husham. And you'll see our performance coach running super hard. He runs this call very, very clean. I think he stays in discovery too long, actually. But there's a lot of nice lessons here for how to cleanly run a call and just do your due diligence and get everything done. And he has an objectionless close, absolutely smashes it. So I thought this was a great one to review. So let's go ahead and look at that in right about now. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the call. One thing I also want you to be aware of is the level of focus Husham places on the way in which he delivers his scripting, the way in which he delivers his questions, the way in which he delivers the conviction behind his questions. It's all dialed in. So let's go ahead. There's a lot to learn here. It's about a 30-minute discovery. There's a lot of sauce we'll get from this.
Yeah, it's my day off today, which is nice. So how are you?
Good. Yeah, good. We just started the day. We've got a few lives to change today. So we'll see what happens. Whereabouts are you calling from? Where are you?
The Gold Coast in Australia.
Nice. I'm calling from Perth.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if you've been to Perth, but everyone says it's boring. Is that true?
Really? Perth?
That's what they tell me.
I've heard it's incredible. It's like one of my destinations I really want to go to.
So you haven't been here, have you?
No, I'm from the Gold Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I think it's amazing, but a lot of people think otherwise. But anyways,
That's funny.
we're here anyways. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Husham. I work very closely.
And don't forget, we're playing at 1.5 speed, so everyone's talking a little slower than what you hear now. But this is sped up for time purposes for the video.
With all the guys that you saw in the videos and before
cool.
coming here. These calls are very, very simple, which is very straight.
Look at how Husham opens the call and how he takes control over the path of the call. He doesn't just say, like, let's dive in. He doesn't just stay joking for like 3-4 minutes, but it's very, very concise to the point and short, but it still gives her a clear picture of how the call is going to run and what expectations are. We call this framing and introing the call.
These calls are very, very simple, which is very straight to the point. We'll get 3 things established together. Just one, just want to find out more about you. Who are you exactly? What's your goals? Where you want to be, especially with e-commerce, like where do you want to take things over time and what's stopping you and how we can help. The second thing, the only time we discuss the second thing is when I truly believe what we have can work for you. And then and only then we'll go through the packages.
Oh, forgot to mention also, this is one of Husham's first calls on the offer. So he got even better at selling this offer. He had never sold BizOp ecomm before, but this is the first time he's selling this offer. I think this was either his second call or maybe it could have even been his first. Let's say it's between his first and third call. It's either the second, third, but I thought he mentioned it was his first. Maybe it was the first one that he took and he had other ones booked, something like that. But I want you to see, like, this is him at his worst on this offer, just to show you how good our people are. And Husham's been a client of mine, and he's now a performance coach. So you'll see how well he runs this, and how clean it is, and how much due diligence he does.
Because at the end of the day, I don't want to give you something that doesn't work or it's going to be a waste of both of our times. Okay.
Yeah,
and the third thing, it's back into your court. If you feel like this is a good fit for you and you feel like you can achieve results with it, amazing. We'll talk about investment, how much all this costs, and then getting you on board today. If not, all good. At least we had clarity of what we want to go in the future. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Fantastic. I mean, okay, well, tell me, what's your situation? Are you experienced with e-commerce? First time? Give me like a bird's eye view.
No, not at all. This is like all new. Yeah, so I'm kind of finding my feet with it as I go. And I've just finished building the website, my first store.
Okay,
So I'm just up
nice.
to like the review part. But it's just been a very slow process, just because of like, I guess my situation in life and find the time where I can at the moment. So yeah, I'm enjoying it though. I'm learning so much.
Cool.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. It's amazing. At the same time, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
So this, you can hear, this is her first time running the business. To make sure I got that correctly.
Part. But it's just been a very slow process, just because of like, I guess my situation in life and find the time where I can at the moment. So
she's almost sounds like completely new. Like she's dabbled in, has her feet in the door a little bit, but she's not unlike the previous call, she's not making money pushing hard with ecom like Alex on the previous call has been with sales.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it though. I'm learning so much.
Cool.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. It's amazing. At the same time, it's not the easiest thing in the world. You know, like being profitable and being there, especially on your own. That's like the hardest bit. Okay, so you've been taking some active steps in the right direction. So is that right? Okay, cool. What do you want to be? What do you want to be in e-commerce? Where do you want to take things over time? Let's say 6-8 months down the line. Where do you want to take things?
Ideally, I would love to be, I guess, have like a income stream, like a profitable income stream from a store, so that I can step back from my current full-time job and just have more flexibility. Like I have 2 kids, they're still quite young, so I have to take a lot of time off work as it is, just because I'm a single parent as well, just to cater for them. So I feel like this is like an ideal lifestyle, like a work-life balance kind of thing, whereas like I can work in between the boys. That's like the main thing that appealed to me, is like I really want to be there for them while they're young. So
it's massive, of course.
Yeah.
How old is your children?
3 and 5.
3 and 5. Oh, so like pretty young. So especially like
So we actually have a nice holy grail here. And again, we call it holy grail based sales, which is where we look at where the prospect wants to be in their future and we aim and have a conversation, a dialogue with the prospect around that. So we do have a holy grail now. We don't know how much she wants to make. I haven't heard that number yet. So I'm assuming at some point Husham's going to get that. We reviewed this call actually in protocols a few months ago when Husham had started on this offer and his first weekend. I was like, dude, this is such a good representation of how to kick off an offer, I think. So we used this call and looked at it in protocols. But I'm not sure if he goes for the number now or if he does that later, but I'm pretty sure he would get a number. But yeah, we don't have that yet. But we do have a nice holy grail. We have a good motivation for her. She gave all that at the top. So now we need to definitely get urgency triggers, which is what's the reason to do this now. We need that. We need gaps, which is where she wants to be and what the future looks like versus now, and where she doesn't want to be, what she's running away from, fear stage versus now. We need all that still. But yeah, we're off to a very good start in the call.
So
it's massive, of course.
Yeah.
How old is your children?
What he's doing now is a technique which I talked about earlier called labeling. He's going to actually get her to say the ages of the kids, because if we can use a timeline, say how old the children are, it puts it into context within her life. My child is 5 versus my child is 17 versus my child is 26. There's a difference in those ages and what they would mean to a parent.
3 and 5.
3 and 5. Oh, so like pretty young. So especially
Very
like that
young.
age. Of course, as a parent, you know that age is extremely important for a parent to be a lot present, a lot more active.
Do you see? And you know he would actually have said this. If she said my child's 16, he would say this as well. He would say maybe a different version of it, but he would say, oh, that's a very important time for XYZ. If she would have said, if she was an older woman, let's say, and she said my child is 25, he would have said the exact same thing in a different format. So very clean. He's prepared. He knows exactly where he's going.
And they just they grow up so quick. So I feel like you just miss it.
Miss it in what sense? Because you're working so much, or what?
Yeah.
Love it. So now what he's doing is he's starting to stack reasons for commitment, like reasons to actually make change and reasons to do this now, not to do this later, right? So he has like, what's the actual reason? What don't you have? What are you lacking, right? And that's tied to family. This is one of her drivers. You see on the last call, how I went to get those drivers on the last call. Same thing here.
Yeah, exactly. Like working full time. You don't really get too much quality time with them. With that kind of
is that what you feel like you're missing because you've been so attached to this job at the moment? Hence why we have a goal to start something different.
For sure, yeah, and also to be honest, like the limitations in what I can earn. I work for the government, and it's like a tiering structure, so you can't
corporate type or
corporate. You have to like climb the ladder, and the more you.
And look at how on Husham's face, how you could see he's wearing that pain on his face. He's like, really? Ah, man, wow, really.
And the more responsibility you have, and I don't want that.
So, more hours, more stress.
You have to show face more and that sort of thing. So that's kind of thing. It just doesn't really work for my goal long term.
What do you do for work? Don't mind me asking.
I work in projects and procurement in like an IT department for the council.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that for?
A couple of years now, but I've always worked in IT. Yeah. Okay.
Well, what's your income right now? I just want to make a comparison between like where we are right now.
So here we go. Here comes gap. Where we are now versus where we want to be. This is still just information gathering on her current state, but she actually gave a lot of good information that Husham can use to create, to facilitate, to trigger, as we call it, urgency, to trigger also an identity.
Now, and where we want to get to, so we can hold you accountable to that goal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so of course.
Where are we saying average?
I'm earning 80K salary.
80K salary. So a month, would that be?
Oh, a month. So it's like 2,400 a fortnight, so yeah, 4,800 a month maybe.
Yeah, 4 to 6. If it's a good month for you and you're doing overtime, I'm assuming it's a little bit higher. Is that
right? No, you don't get paid for overtime.
Oh, you don't get paid for overtime?
No.
Are you doing a lot of overtime as well, but you're not getting paid for it, or is it just like when you want to?
Not really. I'll only do overtime if I take time off for like my boys' appointments during the day. I'll make it up at night, that kind of thing. So I just don't have the opportunity to do overtime.
Okay. So we are in 4 to 6 right now. And you've been in this job for some time. What's ideal? Like, let's say you started this online making money business, all that stuff. It all goes well. How much more are we looking to add where it frees up more time for you and you can spend it more with family, if that makes sense?
Income wise, ideally minimum 8 a month, because I'm eating into my savings every month just because of like financial commitments I have with them, because they're we see specialists and things like that. And that exceeds my income. So at the moment I'm like, scraping.
So how much did you say exactly? Maybe I missed it.
So see, she hasn't really given how much. So she's giving good information, but not the number we need. So he's like, how
much more? Let's say 6-8 months more on top. Like you're making 80 grand a year right now. How much more? What gives you that flexibility where like I can breathe?
I would say minimum 100K. Yeah, if I'm realistic.
Why are we shooting for only 20 grand? Because I feel like if you stay in this job for another 2 or 3 years, you can probably hit it 100 grand.
Yeah.
I want to set a high standard for you, because for all of us, we do the same. So I don't want to shoot you in the foot already before even getting to work.
Yeah. It feels kind of weird saying like a really high number, to be honest, because
why is that?
So
So I love this. So what Husham's doing is, and this is the thing that we teach a lot in protocols, and he executes it really well here. We're creating a lot of friction around the prospect's beliefs coming in. We're creating a lot of friction around their internal belief systems and like limiting beliefs coming in, and why they won't actually aim for more, or why they're hesitating to aim for more. And this is good because it really kind of is like chopping up the soil. You know, if you want to plant something. I don't know if any of you do gardening. I don't, but I saw my mom doing a lot of gardening growing up. And what she would do is like chop up the soil. You chop the soil, then you plant seeds. You chop it up, water the soil, plant seeds. What he's doing here is he's creating friction that's going to allow him to chop up the soil, so that as they communicate and as the call progresses, she has more reason to like make change, to commit to change, to invest in change, because he's disturbing her internal state. And a lot of times change and commitment, compliance on a call with prospect says, I'm willing to invest in myself, I'm willing to make change. That happens when their internal state and the position in which they approach their own success, when that state is disturbed and they're not just comfortable with where they're at. So that's what he's doing here. He's challenging it. He's being very willing to challenge, why are you aiming low? And that's going to disturb her internal state and create a better conversation. And I'll tell you this, if you're selling online, or if you're a sales rep, if you're a coach, a consultant, you sell anything online that's high ticket, you want to have conversations where the prospect has motivation to change. You don't want conversations where you're just being very, very conservative in your presentation, the way you communicate, because being conservative and being afraid to actually create friction, and afraid to challenge, afraid to make the prospect wake up and realize the gravity of their situation, will keep you poor. Like, it's going to keep you broke. So if you want to grow the business, if you're a coach, or if you want to grow your commissions as a sales rep, you don't have to, but if you want to grow, you do have to. You have to be willing to go into uncomfortable conversations where you call out behavior, or you call out beliefs, or you call out ways in which the prospect has been complacent and is not moving towards their highest self, the highest version of them that's going to achieve success. Let's see how Husham continues to build this and stack on it.
2 or 3 years, you can probably hit it. 100 grand.
Yeah.
I want to set a high standard for you, because for all of us, we do the same. So I don't want to shoot you in the foot already before you even get to work. You know what I'm saying?
It feels kind of weird saying like a really high number, to be honest, because
Why is that?
I've always just been in corporate and it's so limited. I guess that's my mindset with it. Yeah, I would love to earn a lot more than that, to have the flexibility. Yeah.
What's a range where it's like, hey, for myself and for my kids?
So you see how now that we've created the friction and she's compliant on, okay, fine, I probably should aim more, I should expand and adjust my beliefs here. Now what is he going to do? Okay, well, what's the new number? Now we re-ask the question with a better number.
Yeah.
Great from Husham. Great.
What's a range where it's like, hey, for myself and for my kids, at least maybe I can go full time into just creating business and not just having to work this bloody job all the time? What is that range? It doesn't need to be exact. I don't think we'll ever know exactly, but what's a range where it gives you a lot of like comfortability again?
I would say, based off goals of like being able to buy a house on a single income and things like that, to maybe like 140
Amazing.
to 160, like that would be like good, where I can actually get a mortgage as a single income earner, and be okay to, be comfortable with that.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because that just helps me imagine how long potentially it would take. Because some students it takes a little bit longer, sometimes it takes a little bit shorter. It really depends. You know what I mean? So 140 to 160 it's realistic, of course. It's not easy again, but it's realistic.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me more about your job, because that's the reason.
What I would do here, so this is great from Husham, you got a better answer. I would ask her to double down and say, why are you okay with that number? Like that number, and you aiming for that and committing to being that person who makes that. Why is it something you're now here with me deciding to be okay with? It's like a version of urgency, or version of a commitment question, like an urgency or commitment trigger, but you're asking, why are you okay with being this person? And he's doing a stellar job on this call, but we could stack onto it and add that even in, which would make it more powerful.
It's realistic, of course. It's not easy again, but it's realistic. Of course,
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me more about your job, because that's the reason, because the goal, we want to go into full-time business eventually.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. What's been issues with your work? Because I speak to a lot of people every day, and they're okay doing their job. It's just standard. Everyone's in corporate. It's normal life, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Why is that not okay for you? How's that been hurting, I guess, time, all of that good stuff? Just tell me more.
Yeah.
So you see the question he asked, he says, why is that not okay for you? He also adds in, how has that been hurting time? And he kind of hints at what the answer is, like, give me the answer that I want, which is obviously limited in time and freedom, clearly. But he asks her, why is it not okay for you? And the framing of the question is really interesting, because he assumes commitment here. He actively says, why is it not okay for you to be in this position that you have historically been working in corporate? That's a really powerful way to ask the question. Why is it not okay for you to be in this situation?
I think it's just like I don't have the love for what I do. And I see just like working within like a government organization, I see a lot of stuff like I don't necessarily agree with.
Like what exactly?
Just I guess like
I love it. I love this. This is one of the things I love about Husham's game and the way he sells it, his sales game is he takes every little part of the process so seriously. And this is why I hired him to be our performance coach and help our reps push for greatness. Charlie also does the same in his discovery in a different way. I do the same in mine in a different way. We're all different in how we sell, but Husham doesn't let the things get away. He doesn't let anything slide. He sniffs them out and he exposes them. You see, like what exactly? Like how exactly?
I don't necessarily agree with.
Like what exactly?
Just I guess like how political it can be and how silly little things, like I deal a lot with like the councillors and the mayor and things like that, and how particular they can be and how antsy and how much money they waste, and it really irks me a little bit because I just think I've gotten to a point in life where I'd rather just do something that aligns with my values a little bit more, and I get that everyone has to work at the end of the day.
But at the end of the day, doing this job is not aligning
not at all
with your identity as a person and your values.
No,
and
I find it quite boring as well, to be honest. I don't find it
corporate. That's
it
corporate.
is, yeah. And I think that's another reason I really struggle is because like I don't enjoy what I do. I just go because it pays the bills.
So what we're doing right now is we're creating a lot of current pain and current frustration, which is really good. Do you see how, remember I said on the last call, and I love that we're looking at this now, guys. Remember on the last call I said, if you have a prospect who's not really in the game of what you do, the problems they have are not going to be set around making change technically. This woman is barely doing ecomm. She may have messed with a couple of things. Maybe she has a store, but she's not doing anything. She's not launching anything. She's not actively in the game, which means that the questions that Husham asks, the path he goes in terms of pain is not going to be, why aren't your ads working? Or how can we help you in terms of like training? I think he may ask that question, which I don't love that question for this call, but you get the idea. His questions are not, he may ask it in passing, but his questions are not anchored towards what do you need in ecomm. He's moving away from that. And the reason he's willing to move away from that and not lean into that kind of scripting here is because the focus of the call, actually, the intent of this, the conversation he's having is going to be more on the pain of her not having a solution to the pain in her life right now. Whereas if she had already started ecomm and had some data, was making a bit of money, then her pain would be, I'm not doing it well enough. Right? So you see the difference in scripting, the difference in delivery, the difference in language. It all matters. It all happens depending on the state that the prospect actually is resting at. Whether they're a prospect with more data or they're a prospect with less data when it comes to your offer and what you sell. So again, if you're a coach selling fitness, or if you're a coach selling trading, coaching, whatever you sell online, personal development, or if you're a sales rep who's selling for someone, for a consultant, and you say you're selling even B2B, actually, I lied. B2B, there would always be data because you're selling to a business. But let's say any version of B2C sales, you want to understand the level of data that your prospect has and don't just get data unnecessarily because there may not be data. Okay?
Yeah.
How's that been? I don't want to pry too much. I want to understand your full situation.
Right. Yeah.
How's that been affecting things just outside of work? Because we understand work is boring, it's corporate. Same thing again and again every day. Just a different day. How's that been affecting things just outside of work?
Yeah, well, I think when you're waking up and you kind of know what your day-to-day, like you're going to work, to be honest, I work from home, so I am grateful in that sense. But to know what you're in for, you're like, I've got another 9 hours on the computer doing something that just is completely monotonous and really draining.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, you are grateful, sure, but are we happy at the same time?
Not at all, no.
Yeah, sorry, continue. I stopped you, my bad.
Yeah, and I think another thing is just like the expectation. Like I feel like I earn a pretty average salary, like 80K these days is not.
One thing that Husham does here, which actually makes the discovery longer, and he didn't need to do it this long, is he sticks a lot in current pain, like what's currently missing, what's currently sucking your life, which is good. And that's why this was an objection-less close and it ended up being a 25K close or 20K close. It was a multi-5-figure deal he did. And one of the things that was really, really interesting is he creates so much present pain at the top, or he triggers so much present pain at the top, and that really helps him to create the kind of, what's the word we'd use here, the kind of the set the grounds and establish the framing necessary for her to actually lean into making change, when it comes to her ecom business. So that's a really good job, and he did it almost too much. He doesn't need to. Like, he's doing so much due diligence here, which is he's a great sales rep, but he's actually going above and beyond. And I know why. He and I talked about it. It was actually because it was his first call on the offer, one of his first few. So he's like, let me go above and beyond and just really push and test and feel the framing of how I'm going to run these calls.
From like the economy and the cost of living and things.
Groceries, and you have to kid as well, so that does not make it easier, does it?
Yeah, so I feel like for the expectation and the responsibility I have managing projects, quite high stakes, and my income is a bit out of balance, and it makes me a little bit less motivated because I know at the end of the day I'm only earning this much, but they expect this much, and that kind of demotivates me as well a little bit.
How long have you been feeling like that? This motivation, or
So what we're doing now, remember we talked about labeling. What he's doing is he's creating a time gap. He's associating a time value, which is how long has this thing been going on. So now it's not just I'm in the state, but we add a timeline to the state to increase how bad or frustrating the state is. Because if we say I've been in this situation for XYZ period of time, it could be 6 months, it could be 5 years, it could be 20 years, depending on the prospect's age and their situation. However long it is, that now adds more context and adds more weight to the reality of where they're at, which gives them more incentive to change because we have that context, we have that weight.
how long have you been feeling like that? This motivation, or just overall dissatisfaction? Because for some people it's a long time. How long has that been going on for you?
Yeah, probably I've only been in this role for maybe 2 years, so probably a year and a half maybe, because like, I think
So we don't love this because did you hear the scripting? Listen to it again and see if you can catch it, okay? I'll play it at 1.25 speed. Engage with me here, guys. I know it's YouTube and you're not live on the call with me, like doing this with me. Again, if you want to train with me, you can come into our school community. It's called Quantum Level, and it's free to join. Okay, so go click down below the link we have to our school community. You can join it. You can come hang out with me, hang out with my salespeople, like our team, our clients who are really pushing hard, and you can come and train with me once a week. Every Thursday, we do it at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so what's happening here is, she says it's I don't want to spoil it. I kind of spoiled it. I forgot I told you to do it, but she says it's only been 2 years or a year and a half, right? So again. The number is not bad actually, but then she says it's only been. So now she's kind of taking away that it's been a long time because she's like it's only been this long. Let's see how Husham handles it, or if he does anything with that. It's interesting.
Or just overall dissatisfaction? Because for some people it's a long time. How long has that been going on for you?
Yeah, probably I've only been in this role for maybe 2 years, so probably a year and a half maybe, because like I think the first 6 months I was just like learning the role and finding my feet kind of thing and enjoying things because it was all new. Previously, before this, I worked in like a family business with me and my ex-partner. We started a company.
Okay.
So, but once we separated, I had to go find a job elsewhere, and that's kind of how I got into this.
And that made things a lot, I guess, difficult for you as a single parent, of course, and two children. How's that been affecting, I guess, your time with the children?
So he kind of moves off of it because she said only, which she still did say it's a certain amount of time, and she recognizes that it's been there for a while, but she didn't lean into, oh my God, it's been a while. So we'll move on from it. Not significant for the call, but still, that wasn't as strong as we want it to be in her own mind, but we still got it. We'll use it. We'll move on.
You did say earlier that's taking away time. Is that because of work or whatnot?
For sure, yeah.
In what sense, though? How? Because I've been in corporate and I have my own family, so I know a thing or two about it, but how's it manifesting for you?
Yeah, well, I work 7:30 till 4:30, so I have to be up and out the door by like dropping them at daycare by like 6:30, 6:45, which they are just so, like, it's a rush, like such a rush in the morning. Like I'm just like up, eat, get in the car. They get home, they're so wrecked after such a long day of daycare. So I'd love to have like, shorten their days even by like 2 hours would be a huge difference on them and their well-being. But also like my son has like ADHD and things like that. So we have a lot of specialist appointment in therapy. They both go to therapy. So that comes out of my work day, those times. And I'm
assuming, sorry to cut you off.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's a lot more expensive as well, therapy and whatnot.
It is.
So do you see how he's just stacking everything in present pain, which is good? We still haven't left current pain though. So he's going into life is expensive. You don't have a lot of time. You're missing out on that. You're frustrated with your job. And the reason I wanted to break this down on YouTube is because I want you guys to see how well, like, this is a great job what he's doing. I think that he also closes within 52 minutes, which is great, including the whole intro to the call, pitching and everything. So this is a very efficient call. And Husham runs his calls very efficiently. He doesn't take a long time on his calls, which is great. But one of the things that you'll see is you can get pain from people. Like some reps struggle. Oh my God, how do I get pain? You can get pain from people. You can snag pain from people without question. You just have to have the right scripting, lean into it, fully commit to the right scripting and process, and you will get pain from people.
Exceeds my salary. Yeah.
It exceeds your salary. The therapy itself. Seriously.
What do you mean? Like plus all my other expenses. Like my budget like doesn't allow for the cost of therapy. That's what I'm saying. Like I'd love to earn a higher income so I can afford that without digging into my savings. Because that's how I currently fund the therapy, is through my savings, which are just dwindling. So yeah. As much
as like it is somewhat a funny situation, it's frustrating, I can imagine. Because as a single parent, I'm sure this has not been easy for you. Because I talked to
I like how Husham called this out. He played it a little bit safe, though. He said as much as it is a funny situation, because she was chuckling. What we want to do here is just say, well, is it funny? It's not funny. I think it's frustrating, and I think that there's much more to life and a better version of life to experience than this. Although you have blessings, you're okay, everyone's healthy. I would assume, and you're okay. It isn't funny. It's I would give her that and say, "What are your thoughts? How do you feel?" And then she would crash. She'd be like, "No, you're right. It's not funny." And then we win that. So Husham's doing a version of that. He's letting her off the hook just a little bit, but we want to lean into it even harder.
A lot of family members, a lot of fathers, a lot of moms and whatnot, so it can be difficult.
Yeah.
The real
What a lot of sales reps who are not trained well will do is they'll just laugh with the prospect, which is fucking terrible. Don't do that.
question, because as a coach, as a representative of Freedom Club, generally, how long more do you want to keep staying, I guess, stuck in this situation where I'm like, hey, I'm just getting by?
Yeah.
How long more do you want to keep being stuck in this situation, genuinely?
Oh, I genuinely am so ready to move on. Like, I'm so ready to move forward. I'm not even scared of not having like that corporate security that I guess I used to really long for. I guess you can't lose your job when you're in the council because it's very hard for them to fire you. And I think that was an attractive thing, as like that sense of security in a role. But now I'm just like, it's not even a thing for me anymore. I just like really want to.
It's genuine happiness. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Zero fulfillment.
I just feel like if I keep doing what I'm doing, nothing's ever going to change.
So this is interesting. A lot of reps would hear this and they would settle. They would say, okay, this is a good urgency. Like, we have urgency now? Let's pitch, right? Or we have urgency. This is good. But her just saying, I want to change is not enough. I need a trigger behind why she is committed to this. I think Husham will get one. It wouldn't make sense if he doesn't, especially because we have another about 14 minutes of discovery that he runs before he pitches. So there's a lot more sauce here. But I really would want, in this situation, if I'm a sales rep or if this is my program and I'm selling it, let's say, I need the prospect to give me a tangible reason for why they're willing to commit to change. Like, I get the prospect saying, I need to change and I'm ready to change. That's cool to me, but I need them to back it with a tangible reason and validate that, as in, I will because of XYZ reason, if that makes sense.
Well, that's the thing that I want to explore, because you've been in the situation, you mentioned a year and a half.
Seems like he's setting it up.
Is that right? Year and a half. You mentioned a year and a half. Is that right? Year and a half, about 2 years. What was the trigger that made you realize, hey, I'm kind of, excuse my language, fucking sick of it? Like, I'm just sick of it and I want to do something so different from just a normal, generic 9 to 5.
So now we go trigger. That's what we call an urgency trigger. And he's literally breaking the fourth wall and just saying, I'm going to use the word trigger, which is the scripting that I actually give to my advanced sales reps. And Husham has worked with me he did protocols, and then he's done one-to-one training with me, and then we hired him. So he's really, really like one of our just amazing performing rep. And he's using that scripting here, like, what is the actual trigger causing you to commit to making change now? So he doesn't just let her get off the hook with saying, I want to make change and I know that I need to. He actually says, no, give me an actual trigger and motivating factor behind you being committed to doing XYZ action here and now. That's where he's actually going with this.
So different from just a normal, generic 9 to 5. What was the trigger?
I don't know if there's a specific trigger. I know I've known for years and years that I've always wanted to explore.
Don't be scared if the prospect says, I don't know the answer. Like, remember my last call that we just looked at with Alex? If you made it to this point of the video. By the way, if you've made it to this long in the video, which I see this loom I'm shooting is 27 minutes, which means I think we're probably about getting close to an hour in the video. If not at an hour, we're just before an hour. If you've made it this far, then you probably love this shit. Like, if you actually have been locking in learning, which normally our videos will get anywhere from 300 to, let's say, 1,000, if it's a bigger video, maybe 2,000 views generally. And if you've made it here, we can see that there's less people who make it to this point of the video, of course, because about 70% of people just watch the first 10, 15 minutes and get a little high, and then they have like a little, oh my God, some sales stuff, it's fun, and they have no attention span. But if you've actually committed to this far in, then you're probably, I'm not even kidding, one of the people that I probably can help. Like, you're either a coach who's running sales calls yourself and you're trying to make money with that, or you're a sales rep who wants to make more money because you're a setter and you want to get to closing, or you're a closer and you want to increase your comms by mastering the game the way that we do, the way we teach our reps to take this game, this skill very, very seriously. If that's you, down below, you can book a strategy call with our team. And I think this would be a really great for you. And you have the attention span to work with us. You have the ability to actually learn from our stuff if you've made it this far in. But I want to tell you, like, look at how he's not letting her off the hook with anything. He is leaning into every single question, stacking them. And this is a really great example of doing due diligence in calls, in discovery, and making sure everything gets exposed. So he's doing a great job of that. Let's continue watching. From
just a normal, generic 9 to 5. What was the trigger?
I don't know if there's a specific trigger. I know I've known for years and years that I've always wanted to explore Freedom Club because
And this is the point I was making a second ago. I got sidetracked because I got excited, to those of you who are watching this now. I was saying that when it comes to specific trigger, Don't be scared if the prospect doesn't know the answer. If they don't know the answer, it's fine. You could either just re-ask the question and say, "Oh, I'll explain it to you," or just say, "Think about it and try." You could do that, right? Like with Alex, when I just had the call that I reviewed a second ago in this video, he didn't know some of the answers, but I stuck to my pocket and I didn't mind if he didn't have the answer. Just because the prospect doesn't have an answer to a question, it doesn't mean that question is bad.
Purchased the course when I was
cool.
just before leaving my ex-partner, but then the separation happened and then we're going through like the legal proceedings, so that delayed things. I was so focused on that and the kids for
that's all
well
done,
over a year. That's all done. Like, and
cool.
I think it's just the point now where I'm really, I wanted to get my mental health back on track. I wanted to get like moved a few times after the separation, so it was quite chaotic in my personal life, and I just didn't have the capacity, I guess, to deal with anything else at the time.
What about just one, sorry, cut you off again, just on this one point, because again, building a business and stepping into that business owner role, it's not an easy role. You absolutely know this. So mentally, energetically, do you feel like you're ready for that?
Yeah,
now,
for
as
sure.
opposed to before, you feel like you're ready?
Yeah.
So this is interesting. He goes into why now, like, what was the trigger? She gives an answer that's decent. It's an okay answer. She more so says, it's like, I have the time and life is letting me now. She doesn't really say, this is why I need to do this. And so instead, Husham pivots and he goes, are you ready to commit to doing these actions and being this business owner, or leaning into being this kind of business owner, right? Because it's going to be a different version of you, aka building friction. He's creating friction, and out of the friction comes identity change or identity awareness, which is amazing. The one thing though is she hasn't given a great answer to the why now still. So he's pivoting to how he attacks the commitment and how he helps her to build commitment. What I want to see him do, we'll see if he does it. This is great scripting he's using. What we would also want to do here is not just settle for, yes, I'm ready to do the work and be this business owner, but also like, tell me about why or what causes you or what changed for you to be this person now. That would make the identity that he's facilitating or he's trying to trigger, because he's triggering an identity, he would make that identity more real and more tangible in her mind. That's what would happen here.
Yeah,
now,
for
as
sure.
opposed to before, you feel like you're ready?
Yeah. I think the main thing previously was
Well, she gives it to him, even though I would want him to ask her this, but she's saying previously XYZ, and now I'm in XYZ position, which is really great that she's giving this answer. I probably would still want to ask it to her, a different version of this, so I could ask it and control the answer. Because again, there's a lot of softs in this training today, guys. So don't get lost. Stick with me. Stick with me. Stay present. But a lot of times, if a prospect just gives you something and you didn't ask it to them, you didn't facilitate the answer, which is different than the prospect just telling you something. You want to generally try to control how the answers are given, which means you facilitate them. So he's not facilitating this answer fully. She's giving him something, which is great. She's giving him, oh, here's why I am willing to be this person because of what changed. But he didn't ask her like what changed. So it's her giving him the answer without him facilitating it, which means it's not Husham's answer that he's controlled. But still, doesn't matter. It's still solid. Very, very good. Let's see if he dives into what else he creates out of this call.
Just like literally going through a separation, and we were moving states, and like it was quite a lot going on. So I feel pretty stable in where I'm at in life, and mentally I feel super ready. Yeah.
So in terms of effort, time, energy, you feel like you're a lot more ready now?
Yeah. For sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just want to touch back on like why now, because I speak to some business.
So what he does is he leans into a why now question and goes back into the trigger. He didn't explore like the identity of this, which I think now, because he took this call. I forgot when this call happened. This was sometime, of course, 2026. It just started, but he took this call sometime in maybe end of summer, or it could have been, no, it was fall, beginning of fall, I think, last year. So I think now he would lean more into identity because he's just continuously getting better, and all of our people, our coach, Charlie, Husham, myself, we were always just getting better and pushing our reps to get better and better and better. But yeah, I think that he would do that now, but instead of doing that, which just doesn't matter, he goes back into the why now and wants to complete this loop and fully build out a trigger behind the reason for now.
Business is just people that are just wanting to get started as well. They want to push things off like 3-6 months down the line. Like, hey, I'll come back and we'll make a change then. What makes
so instead of saying that, he goes, instead of saying like the identity work, he goes, why not push this off and why commit to it now, which is great. He's going to have her validate that idea. Amazing.
They want to push things off like 3-6 months down the line. Like, hey, I'll come back and we'll make a change then. What makes this important for you now rather than just later? That's what I was trying to get at. Hey, what makes you say, hey, I'm committed now to making those changes in my life and starting something new rather than just push it off for another 3-6 months?
Yeah. I genuinely just feel like the thought of being in the same, like this current situation in 3-6 months is terrifying to me. Like, I don't want to be sat here thinking the same thing. Like, I want to make a change. I really want to get started. when I could have started today. Like I could have started now. Like I feel like I do have the mental capacity now. I do have the time. I will make the time also.
Amazing
Yeah.
attitude.
Yeah.
Amazing attitude. Cool. Okay. So let's say, for example, and again, I'm sitting on a wooden table, so touch wood. That's why we're even here. Let's say you don't make the changes. You just keep dealing with this, I guess, that never-ending cycle, or what I like to call the eel hell, that the hamster wheel. Another 3-6 months, even fast forward another year or two. Okay. What does that look like? What would be the downside if you decide not to make changes and you just keep
He goes downside. Again, you can see the downside. Scripting, what's your downside? What would be the downside? Now, what he says is the downside to not making changes, which is good scripting. We can go even better, like downside of being in this position and staying in the same position for the next 5 years. Like, you know, let's say you even may have tried, but you don't achieve success. What's the downside of not achieving success? You could go that too. There's a bunch of ways you could approach this, but we're good.
the same thing again and again? What does that look like?
If I just keep doing what I'm doing, I feel like I'm going to be very unfulfilled, very stressed financially, because by that point I don't know where my savings will be.
We get a great answer here for downside. She plays the ball fully, and we have a great answer now.
Where my savings will be. I don't see myself being like super. I don't want to say I don't want to be like I won't be happy because it's a mindset, but I feel like I'll be very unfulfilled and pretty.
That's okay. By the way, there's zero judgment. I want total honesty
Yeah.
because we're gonna give you so much honesty from our side. You know what I mean? Because there's a future that if we don't make changes, we are on pace of being in that place. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
why we
for
ask these
sure.
questions. You know what I mean?
I like how Husham jumps in here and helps her further her answer because she starts getting uncomfortable with her going into the negative. And instead of him just like not saying anything and just letting it continue, he actually says, hey, no, do that. Go negative. That's totally okay. There's a judgment-free zone. Let's progress the answer forward. And he actually validates her playing ball, which is a really, really good strategy here. Really good timing. He took charge of the answer. And sometimes as a sales rep or you're selling anything online, you want to actually take charge of the prospect's answer. You could see I did this in my call with Alex as well. If they're answering something and they start to struggle, not because they don't want to answer it, but they start to struggle and get uncomfortable with going into that space, sometimes I'll jump in. I'll say, by the way, dude, it's great that you're actually giving me this and that you're leaning into this because this is where change happens. So, and we continue the answer. We don't let them off the hook, but we continue it. So that's what Husham's doing here.
Because there's a future that if we don't make changes, we are on pace of being in that place. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
why we
for
ask these
sure.
questions. You know what I mean? Because if you can't talk about it, it doesn't become real. Okay.
That's so true. Yeah.
So then, how does that feel? I guess just even as a mother, let's just take.
So now what he does is he scales the answer. So she did say the tangible finances, which I would struggle, etc. But then he doesn't let her off the hook with that. He says, how would it feel being in that position? Now we have that, which is amazing from Husham here to stack on feeling on top of it, because that builds and makes the identity or I should say, excuse me guys, the awareness of the negative future, the fear state, the consequence. Doesn't matter what you call it, but what we do not want to happen, what we want to avoid, that makes it tangible and makes it real. And that's what he's doing here. Great job.
Corporate life out of the way, where you have two boys, was it, or two?
Yeah.
Two boys. How does that feel for you, not being able to spend the time,
Yeah.
the effort, and just having to being stuck in that job all the time?
Yeah. Well, I feel like
Great.
my eldest boy is starting school next year, and
Amazing.
the days are shorter, and they're going to have a lot of extracurricular things I really want to engage him in, and I want to be there and actually like be present during all that as well. So I feel like I know if I continue this current situation, I'm not going to have that ability to do that. And
how would you feel about that specifically?
Oh, devastated. Yeah, I'd feel like the worst.
You see how she starts to kind of ramble in a way and go into like logistics of life, and he just says, how would that feel? Just cuts her off like, boom, let's go feeling, because that's the question I asked. Great scripting again here from Husham. Great scripting.
How would you feel about that specifically?
Oh, devastated. Yeah, I'd feel like the worst mum, to be honest. I feel like time is everything. So yeah.
As a mom, as a business owner, just as a normal human being, is that something that you're genuinely willing to settle for the future, for the success of your family? Is that something that's okay and you're willing to settle for moving forward?
For saying where I currently am, do you mean? Oh, no way. No, it's not good enough for the kids. Like they like my driving factor, to be honest. But it's just, they deserve so much more in life. And I feel like if I have the opportunity to give.
And one of the reasons I wanted you guys to see this call is because the one that I ran with Alex, although a good call, wasn't a representation of clean, perfect scripting. Husham's scripting here is essentially like perfect based on how we train in protocols and what we do. So this is like a great representation of clean, perfect scripting, sticking exactly to protocol, executing on protocol, knocking everything out systematically, staying in your pocket and going from there. Like great job here from him. Really solid stuff here. It was great to it's great to review this because it's a nice sample size of how a clean call should sound. Although some things I think can be taken out and we can compress the discovery into 20 minutes. It's still great stuff here.
they deserve so much more in life, and I
course.
feel like if I have the opportunity to give that to them, I will do it, and I want to.
Amazing.
So
Just like any mother would do, right? But
yeah,
of
yeah, for
course,
sure.
life, job, time, all of that gets in the way, and it just makes it a lot more difficult. So you feel like this will give you the time and the freedom that you're looking for if you were to do it
Yeah,
right
for
way.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
100%.
What does the other side of the coin look like? Because that's what we're avoiding. That's what we don't want to happen.
So now we're going to go to the desire state, or some people call it the future pace. The desire state, which is like where you want to be. What does that look like? We create a desire gap from where you want to be versus where you are now, but we paint a future. Watch how Husham goes through the paces. Look at the scripting, embody it. And again, if you want to make money in sales, this is how you need to run your calls. We're giving you the sauce right here. This is how it works. Now, again, if you want to implement it, mentorship, coaching, training, like mentorship, actually, not just getting some fucking little coaching program that you pay like in a YouTube subscription per month. I'm talking an actual mentor who holds your hand is what's going to help you make changes. That's how I've gotten anything good that I want in my life. It's through mentorship. You know, when it comes to sales, when it comes to business, when it comes to relationships, dating, everything. I've invested in mentors to help me. So, but let's look at this. Look at how he executes this scripting here. Look how powerful it is.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
What does the other side of the coin look like? Because that's what we're avoiding. That's what we don't want to happen. You know what I mean? What does the 180, like let's say 6-7 months down the line, 180 thing happen? Like you did start, you're making money online.
Did he just say 6-7 months down the line? Okay, Husham.
What does the other side of the coin look like? Because that's what we're avoiding. That's what we don't want to happen. You know what I mean? What does the 180, like let's say 6-7 months down the line, 180 thing happen? Like you did start, you're making money online. You're hitting upwards of 15, 20K months, which is absolutely realistic. What does that do for you, for the family, for the kids? Just tangibly, what would change for you guys day to day?
Day to day, I'd probably drop my youngest out of, like, because he goes to daycare 5 days a week. I'd probably reduce that by a day or two just to have some more quality time with him while he's so little.
Yep.
I would take, I've got my eldest booked into before and after school.
If you're noticing the patterns here and how we sell, what should come next? She's going to label all this. She's going to give the context. And then what we should do is, what would it feel like? That's the next piece. You should know that by now. If you've been watching this training here, you should see a pattern already. That's how you get sharp at sales, noticing the patterns in terms of the process, in terms of how we communicate. He should now, in a second, go, what would that feel like? I think he does it. He should do it. If he doesn't, it's not going to kill the call, but he should associate a feeling with this future state.
Yeah, I've got my eldest booked into before and after school care, so he can, go 6:30 till 4:30, my work hours. So I'd drop that. I'd just do the normal school hours. I'd do extracurriculars. I want to get them into jiu-jitsu, so I can't do it at the moment.
Cool.
Yeah, just things like that.
I did boxing. I did boxing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From a very young age. So boxing was my thing. But putting them into sports very early on, it's amazing. It's the best.
Oh my gosh, and they need it. Yeah, like they're such energizer bunnies. And like my little one or I already know he's going to be like a footy player or a boxer because he's got boxing gloves and he just constantly boxing. I'm like, don't get me. But so I think just like the flexibility of being there with the boys. Like I haven't taken them on any holidays because I can't afford it. Things like that. So just having more time and making more memories with them. Like it sounds so cliche, but like I genuinely just want to be able to do that without the stress. So
I would argue and say it's the bare minimum in life, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, life's way too short, and I feel like the older you get, you realize that more and more.
And it gets harder the older you get because more responsibility.
I know.
It just becomes a lot harder.
Exactly,
what about just outside of just the kids? Because I mean,
so instead of feeling right now, he's actually digging into more things. I think he's going to tell her he's going to get her to go more selfish. But he may not. But I feel like he would do that here. That's what I would do here. I would say make it about you too. What does it do for you? And as a mother, create that, facilitate, trigger the identity of mom. Bring that up and ask her to lean into that and what she wants as a mother for herself.
Selfishly, we are doing it for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So how would that change things for you? 6 months.
Oh gosh. I mean,
really good stuff.
I would finally get a place of our own so we can stop renting. That would just be an incredible thing. I'd probably, go on a girls' trip every year just to get away. I love looking after myself. So all the treatments, the hair, the whatever, I love doing all that stuff. So I definitely would indulge in that if I had the ability to. And yeah, I don't know, I'd be doing all
when you become successful, you're making money potentially, of course, when you get the right help. Please make sure not to spend all your money on just hair products or like just nails and whatnot.
I'll have to remember that.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. But we want to keep it. We want to invest back.
I do have some pretty specific goals. Yeah.
He's keeping it light here for a second. I'm torn between because I see what he's doing and it's a really good strategy. And again, I'll tell you guys something really cool. When you get really good at sales and you train the way we train our people, the way our reps, we just put out a video with Kim on the channel, who's one of our newest reps who's hit 5 figures. And I just shot a video with Henry. That'll be out. Maybe when you guys see this video, that might already be out. That's coming out next Friday at the time of me shooting and uploading this one. And, One thing with both of these guys who have hit 5 figures, Husham, who's been blazing 15, 20K comms months, Charlie, who's a 20, 25K month closer as well, and myself, who's made a bunch of money, done 15, 20K comms, and then running a business that's doing about $500,000 in sales, potentially more this year. One of the things that happens when you get really, really good is this is kind of one of the weirdest things about sales, and one of the weirdest things about the personal development aspect of sales. You don't do anything by accident anymore. Like, nothing you do is just random. And I kind of hate it, but I also kind of love it. So even your humor, not in life, but just in sales, when you're on a sales call, when you get really good and you train with us, or at least the level to which we train, the way in which you approach sales, everything becomes intentional, even if it appears like it's just natural. So I know what the fuck Husham's doing right now. I'll explain it to you. We'll play it and I'll explain it. But I'll explain it first, actually. What he's doing is he's making a joke about spending on hair products, but making the joke about her future. It's not a negative joke where he's laughing at it like, haha, it's not real. He's actually making a joke that would sit in a future she's having where she does have those results. So he's making a joke that she's agreeing with, playing ball with, that makes the future she wants feel more real. Now, the reason I don't love it also, it could go both ways. I don't love it because I think he's in a really good pocket, and the call's been very light so far. He has had heavy moments. It's been very heavy in the pain, current state. But I also think that here he could keep heavy energy and just run with that all the way through the call, keep it more grounded and serious. He chooses to lighten up a little bit here, which I don't think is a problem necessarily. It could go either way. And he's a good sales rep, so he knows if objections did come up or if there was any resistance, he'd be able to go toe-to-toe with her and really get her out of her own way. Ideally, he should be able to do that. But what he's doing here on purpose is he's putting in a joke that is a joke about her making lots of money and what that would look like, and joking about her having those results. Not like she wouldn't have them, but saying this is what you would do when you do have them, which means she plays along with that joke based on where she would be in her future. So the future becomes more tangible, more real. If you didn't understand that, come in and train with us and you will. We'll start implementing this stuff and you will be able to understand it. But this is what he's doing here. So you can hear it again. I like it. It's funny.
Please make sure not to spend all your money on just hair products or like just nails and whatnot.
I'll have to remember that.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. But
he assumes the reality is going to happen. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult.
I'll have to remember that.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult. But we want to keep it. You want to invest back.
I do have some pretty specific goals. Yeah, I do have some specific goals I really would like to achieve, and I feel like the situation I'm in right now, it's just not possible with what I'm earning right now. So yeah.
Can I ask you what stopped you before? What stopped you before for?
This is interesting. He's going to start pre-framing now. He has everything he needs to go commitment pretty much now. We got urgency triggers. We have a gap. We have a problem. We have all those things. That's all good. He's doing more due diligence now just to make sure this is objectionless, and I like what he's going to do. He has the space to do it. He's in a really good pocket. He's in a good flow, so he's not going to unnecessarily rush things. I think he could just pitch now, but he goes into doing some due diligence.
Can I ask you what stopped you before? What stopped you before from going just all gun blazing, start something different, and just continuing in your job? What was stopping? What was preventing you?
I think I was in a very bad relationship, which is when I bought the course. And so when we separated, I didn't have any money to separate with. So I was like borrowing money from my mum. But that's okay. I'm like, wouldn't change anything, the way it happened. So I think just like a situation of just like literally getting by and like borrowing money off people to get into like a new rental and things like that. And not having the capacity. I didn't even have a laptop. I got the laptop maybe like a year ago after our financial settlement all settled and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's just
when did that all end? Where you're like, hey, I'm free, I'm by myself right now.
Maybe like last September, October.
So that's still been time, right? That's still been some time.
Yeah,
I love this. You see how? Oh my goodness, this is him sniffing out the bullshit. She's not a bullshitter. She's been super real, but she rationalized the answer and was like, I couldn't make change because whatever, no money and life was cooking me. Cool, we got it. But when did it happen, though? Because I want to see if there was any time where you could have made change. And she could have. We have it now. She could have made change. And she didn't. Saying this with love, right? God bless her. God bless his sister. But we're not letting people off the hook here. So look how he challenges again.
September, October.
So that's still been time, right? That's still been some time.
Yeah, so probably 12 months, yeah.
12 months. What was preventing you from just going all in 12 months ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago? That's the thing that's going to keep us actually in the same spot again. And it's going to prevent us from making that change. So that's why I want to challenge you as a coach, as an accountability.
Yeah.
Why did we not start 3 months, 6 months ago when you were free?
Probably self-doubt, I would say.
In what way?
self-doubt, probably just think like I've always had this thing of like, I'm not good enough. Like, how can I be successful? Like, it's not for me. Like, it's always been like this recurring story in my head, which is like, I've been.
Why is that? Why is that? Because that's the exact reason. I'm just going to be completely honest, Nikki. That's the exact reason why that mindset is going to keep you in exactly the same position. And then fast forward 3-6 months down the line, nothing changes. We'll get stuck. I just want to clarify.
Exactly.
Where does that come from? What do you think?
Yeah, it's coming from childhood, to be honest, to get deep. Like, I've been going to therapy for.
So here's okay. So this is great. This is stellar. I just don't like the question, where is it coming from? Because now we're going like therapy, and that's a dangerous path to take as a closer. Husham's doing it because he can. That's like, he knows that he could pull that off and he could go there. If you're learning from this, I wouldn't ask if you're exploring the past, you're trying to pre-frame a potential objection. I wouldn't go like, where is it coming from? Instead, I would say, has that changed, or are you still leaning into that self-doubt, and is that controlling the way you do things now? That's what I would ask. And I just want to know, have you changed? I don't need to know what was the cause of the self-doubt, like, internally. I don't need to know that. That's too far. I just want to know what's changed up until now, and are you a different person, and why are you willing to be a different person? What are the thoughts or emotions surrounding you being a different person?
Like, quite a few months now, like weekly, and we're working like through all that, which is helping like immensely. It's just, a belief I've kind of had since as long as I can remember. So I'm not sure.
And at this point in time,
yeah.
no, I get you, yeah. Which is common, it's like fear, just like
normal human,
for sure. normal human emotion and whatnot. But do you feel like at this point in time, then you are ready to overcome that type of mindset? Because you can be in two situations here. You can be like, because of this mindset that I have, I'm going to be stuck in the same situation, and I'm just going to lean into that left shoulder, which is the devil side, which is, hey, I'm just going to stay comfortable. Or you're going to be the type of person that says, despite this emotions and fear, I'm still going to put my right step forward.
Yeah.
For my sake of my kids, for the sake of my future. What side do you actively want to listen to and lean towards?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm definitely not going to be listening to that.
I don't need to coach this. You understand what he's doing. It's very clear. If you have no idea what this is, then you need to study up more, probably even a little bit of free stuff, and then look at next steps. But I think it's very clear what he's doing. Despite
this emotions and fear, I'm still going to put my right step forward.
Yeah.
For my sake of my kids, for the sake of my future. What side do you actively want to listen to and lean towards?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm definitely not going to be listening to that if I can help it anymore, because like I'm literally like working on that exact belief in therapy every week at the moment.
It's tough, isn't it? It's tough.
Yeah, but I can already notice like huge changes with my mindset. It's pretty crazy. I think it's just like the consistency that you retrain your mind. I don't know if that's like the best.
So now she's built a new belief up. Husham has opened the door for her to have this belief, this identity of who she will be now triggered, which is amazing. We've triggered it. It's alive. She's validated it too by adding in information, adding in data, adding in context as to how she will operate through a new belief, a new way of doing things, which means this is as good as a done close, assuming she financially, physically can do it and can find a way to pay, which she does. And then Husham turns it into actually a much bigger deal in the preceding hours after this call finished.
Way to describe
the best way to think. Sorry to cut you off again. The best way to think of this is, what happens if you keep being stuck in that mindset for another year or another 2 years? What does that look like?
Yeah. What happens if I keep being stuck in that mindset?
It's kind of redundant now because he had already gone consequence, but he's just like, I will not lose this. So great stuff.
Is I will literally never make any progress. Like, I'll just be in the same spot, which I feel like I have been for so long now, and it's not a nice feeling. It's just like always wanting and wishing.
She laughs, he doesn't laugh. Good state control here.
It's not a nice feeling. It's just like always wanting and wishing, but never doing anything about it. So yeah.
And do you feel like you're right now, she deserves to be a mother that spends more time with her kids? Not just that, but as a business owner that's generating multi 6 figures a month, a year, moving forward. Do you truly believe that about yourself today?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. So then, in terms of just e-commerce and whatnot, what do you feel like you need from us specifically? I want to get technical, because we have a lot of things we help with. I just want to see what you're struggling with right now. How?
I think he asked her this really quick. He says, "What can we help you with?" And then she answers. He doesn't need to ask this question, to be honest. Well, I'll let it play. We'll see. We're here. If you made it this far, we'll look at it. But he doesn't need to ask this question. He does, just to cover every base. He should pitch now. It's been 30 minutes. He'll run out of time, potentially, but he doesn't run out of time. But, he could pitch now.
We have a lot of things we help with. I just want to see what you're struggling with right now. How can we help in this situation?
Yeah, so I feel like my thing is, I really struggled at like I've got my products and like I've built the store, which I'm pretty happy with the store and what it looks like and everything like that. But my thing is like, the product is like, I'm not like, I overthink it to the point where I'm like, I'm not sure if like it's the right thing. I'm not sure if I think there's so much out there already, and I'm just like, I get so overwhelmed with like what's actually going to be a smart product to get into the market with.
What's your strategy of finding these products and making sure they are profitable 100% of the time?
Yeah, I mean, I've followed the steps in the course,
Okay, yeah.
to the kind of structure that they've said to, and done all the competitor research and things like that. So that's kind of how I did come to the conclusion of like the products I have. And I figured just to like get exposure and experience, I'm gonna launch these products anyway. If it's a flop, that's fine. I'll just pivot and try like find something else. But like I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, I really want to make this work. I don't want it just to be a little thing that I try and tweak here and there and like do an hour when the kids are in bed. Like I really want to put the effort in, and like really make this like my job. So that's where I'm like, I don't want to mess around. I just want to like go to the
right
experts.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Why is that more important to you? Because again, I speak to some girls or some guys. They just go, hey, I just want to keep doing this myself and kind of DIY it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna do it myself.
He's really pre-framing everything. I just let it play out so you could hear the scripting and the language, but he's pre-framing everything now. Even though I don't think he needs to do this, it's still a great lesson to learn from. You guys can hear what the language does sound like. So if there are people you feel like you need to pre-frame in terms of I'm going to do it myself, and they're using that language or hinting at that, you could also use this. This is a great way of communicating and pre-framing this.
And I see what it takes me 6 months. Why is that no longer an option? You're looking more into like specific help with your store, with your product sourcing and all that.
Yeah, I feel like time is such a big thing for me. I really want to get out of what I'm doing. I really want to put a lot of my energy into this, and I feel like it's an investment. I do believe that. So I'm happy to invest my time, energy, and some money upfront to learn more from you guys and get like actual guidance from people who have done it. So that's kind of my mindset around, I guess, booking this call rather than making mistakes as I go and learning from them and that sort of thing. And I know I'm going to make mistakes, like 100% everyone does, but
they are inevitable. Don't get me wrong. We wouldn't advise as much because again, you are time poor at the moment, so you want to make every minute, every hour that you're spending is worth it on the right things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if the thing you feel like you're missing right now is like product sourcing, marketing it to the right people, or what else you feel like you're missing exactly?
I think so. I haven't quite gotten up to like the ads. I'm a little bit nervous.
So she doesn't have a lot she's missing because she's not doing anything, right? She's not doesn't have data, so the questions are kind of redundant. He's still doing it as like as an exercise and sticking to protocol because Husham is very much protocol based. He's a protocols client, and we teach stick to protocol, stick to process. So that's what he's doing. He's going through his motions, going through his paces, which is great as a practice to do this, but it's not necessarily needed here.
The social media side, because I'm not great at that whole thing, like marketing and social media, that sort of thing. Like I'm a little bit nervous to get to that stage, but I haven't started watching.
Is that because of lack of knowledge, or where is that nervous?
I think lack of knowledge and lack of maybe creativity with like what's actually going to draw people in. Like I don't want things to look.
I feel like at this point he's looking at the clock, like, damn, I have to get to this.
Tacky or seem tacky, you know what I mean?
You'll be credible, of course, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't done the actual modules yet. I haven't like gone to that stage. So I know I'm going to learn a lot from that anyway. My mind could change. Obviously, I feel more confident as I get into it. But that's one thing that's a little bit daunting for me to get into.
Well, that's why we're here. We're gonna fill these gaps. Okay, I don't want to delay this anymore. Just last question for you. Do you feel like you're ready and committed to making those changes now? Because again, that's really important, and not everybody is ready to step into that, I guess,
commitment question. Are you ready to make
role of business owner and whatnot? But do you feel like you're ready now to change the way you've been doing things the last year and a half?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
okay, fantastic. Well, we can help you. We can definitely help you.
Any pitches, and it's an objection was closed, and that he, I believe the ticket price was $6,500, and then a few hours, a day or two later, he has a conversation with her and upsells her to a 20K package. So absolutely amazing, stellar job here. And again, Husham is our performance coach. So this is the level of standard that we have with our people that we train. But even if you're not working with us, you still have a lot of value you can learn from here and implement to your own process as you sell, as you push to sell, as you sell your own offers or sell as a closer for someone else. There's a lot here. The next thing that we're going to get to, and this is our last one for today, is actually an objection that I run when I was closing on an ecomm offer. This is a guy that I ran objections with. On the call, he turned out to be a financial DQ temporarily, but I deposited him and then got the rest later. But this was still a good example. It was a short one. I wasn't battling him in objections for a very long time, but there's a lot of good info here on the we should call it, let's say, the structure and methodology of handling objections in a very concise, efficient way. And I thought it would be a nice way to sum up the video and give a nice comprehensive amount of value and training here. So we'll dive into that one next. I'm going to go grab a quick drink, and when I come back, we'll be kicking this one off, okay? See you in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this final review. Objections. closing him for a high ticket ecomm coaching offer, and he gives some resistance. I went through a very short discovery with him. This is the first or the second week I was closing on this offer, so I was adjusting to the pitch, and it was a very, very, very long pitch, but we go through some objections, and I just don't let him get away with anything. And I think this is a really good case study, a really good example on sticking to your guns in objections, following basic level process, executing it, and taking things home, which I end up doing. So you'll see this.
To that, right? Even though I left it, whatever, but I kind of kept on going back and seeing what's going on. So, like I said in the beginning, right? So online stores, do they run? No doubt about it, 100%. I feel you just need to have the right strategy. And when you have somebody like you guys, somebody who has already done it and they're coaching you and they're with you every step, you could not go wrong. So I know that's definitely worth it. Yes.
Something I also forgot to mention. I don't know if I brought it up. I don't think I did, but we also have a massive community here.
I think I'm still in the middle of the pitch, so I'm going to skip forward this little
building. Some of them are going to be like 2 penalties at all. We actually take the penalty on our end. 800 divided by 12, so $450 a month. Just say
yeah, I can check that out. Yeah, you said split.
Yeah, what I do is normally I set you up with it here. So we process everything here and get you started and onboard you and bring you into the community, the coaching portal, and bring you with your coach. So if that one makes sense for you and you have the credit availability, I can walk you through the steps here and we can just run through it together.
Yeah, to be honest, I definitely need to take a look. If I have 5,800 credit available, but yeah, that might be doable. Yes.
So first level, he says, I have to go take a look. People say I have to take a look at my finances. We want to get them to give an answer on where their finances are right now. We do not need them to go take lots of time and go take a look. So that's the first level of where I do not let him off the hook here. And you'll see actually, he when it comes to his finances, he actually ends up having the money. He has to move some things around because he is strapped for cash. But look at how I'm not going to let him go take a look later. Listen to the scripting. I'll play this at 1.25 also, so it's easier for you guys to understand in here.
Cool. Are you able to take a look like on an app or something and just figure it out real fast?
I'm not. I have to discuss it with my wife.
So now it's changed. It's changed from I can't actually look at it, or changed from I need to take a look, to I can't look at it now. I have to discuss it with my wife. I don't want to turn this into a partner objection now. All right, because I could just treat it as, hey, it's partner responsibility, which if you've been training or if you know sales right, you know that you have to go responsibility when someone says I have to talk to the partner. You have to create responsibility framing. I don't want to do that though yet because it's just too heavy for the top of the call. I don't need to jump into that. The top of the objection. So instead, let's see how I break it down.
Okay, gotcha. So
yeah, because to be honest and upfront,
he helps me. He just gives me more. I would not have let him do that. I would have said, well, based on what you know right now, where are your finances? And then we would have gone from there, and I would have gotten him to say, well, I could do it, but I have to talk to her if I want to do it or about the commitment. Then I will go into a partner discussion with him.
I don't have anything on my credit cards, no.
You don't. What does that mean? What do you mean you don't have anything on your credit cards?
I mean, I don't have what do you call it? Any available limit on my credit card.
Oh, you mean you
his credit's maxed out.
Do not have credit, or you do?
No, I do have credit. Yes.
But it's maxed.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Well, okay, then this option just would not work. So because it can't be.
And we on this offer we give people all the time that were declined for buying for credit. So I was like, fine, we'll just accept that he can't do it. I just want him to pay something to get cash in, and then I can figure the rest of it out.
Can't be max. You have to have this as an available limit, and then you can do it. So then let's do this. Just a 25 is fine. If you don't need to have all three of these paid and all that stuff, it's not necessary. You just have this in and you're squared away. We give you access to everything. And then what you can do is if you want to switch your payment to something else, because I know you may look at it and see you can move money around and make it more flexible, you could just text me and we can process the rest or process a bigger portion and I'll give you a discount. We'll try to get it as close to this 5,800 as possible and you'll be squared away from there. We're very flexible with it. We just, as long as you have the commitment and the initial like, hey, I'm in, we're fine. And
so let me explain this, what I'm doing here. And if you're a coach selling something or if you're a sales rep, you can use this. It may sound like I'm letting him off the hook and saying you don't need to pay. I'm not doing that. He still has to pay. But a lot of people are scared of the initial commitment, getting their foot in the door. It's like jumping into the cold water. So what I found works a lot and just is a really easy way to get someone in, and it's not unethical, is to just tell them start and we'll figure the rest out later. I still make it clear you do have to pay the rest. We break it into two pieces, this at 25, 25, 25, 3 pieces. But just start with 25 and we'll figure out how we do the rest later. Because usually what I found is the companies that I've worked for and that I even build, you can be flexible with payments. It doesn't mean that you just let anybody pay any way they want, but you can be reasonably flexible with payments once the initial commitment's made. So maybe if you have to break it into where he pays a little less on the next one and more on the second one, on the third one, or he, pays, maybe he gets a discount and pays it in full within 2-3 weeks. Which did not end up happening, by the way. But we get them in, and you, who's running your business, you would rather have those people pay and commit, and then figure the rest out. And you have to have them figure it out. You can't just let anyone pay anyway. Like in protocols, as an example, we have payment plan options and things like that, but we follow through with them. You can't just not pay for the program, but we are flexible with how you do it. And a lot of people will be flexible. A lot of business owners, offer owners, if you're a coach, you can be flexible. So that's what I'm doing. I'm allowing him to lean into that flexibility, but just to make the commitment here.
As long as you have the commitment and the initial, like, hey, I'm in, we're fine. And this still applies, by the way. The 60 days still applies even if you're on a payment plan.
Okay.
Cool. So can I set you up with it here and onboard you and give you access to everything?
So this is me going assumptive close. I know he's not going to close. I know he ends up closing, but I know he's not going to do it right now. So I just go, no stress. Does it make sense? He says yes. And then I'm like, I'm assumptive closing him. I'm not going to say what else is left. Anything else coming up for you? No, just let's start.
You're on a payment plan.
Okay.
Cool. So can I set you up with it here and onboard you and give you access to everything?
I would get back to you on that. To be honest, okay.
So now I've made it easy for him. I've made it easy for him to commit. Nothing's ever easy, but me and him had talked about the future he wants to have in Discovery. We went really deep into it, and the future he wants to have is not aligned with the way he's making a decision right now. So you'll see how I bring that up again and where we go from here. But now the objection shifts. Before it was, I don't know what's in my accounts. I'm limited with credit. And then I say, we'll just give you like the lowest possible option to come in right now. Assumptive close. Can we do that then? You ready? Oh, wait. Hold on a second. There's something else. So usually when you're progressing objections, the objection will change and shift as the prospect gets more uncomfortable with the state of the conversation, and there's more friction. They'll change the objection, or they'll change, they'll change the mask as they become more uncomfortable.
To you on that. To be honest, okay. So here's what my, when I clicked on the link, my theory was that, so I have some debts that I'm clearing off.
So now he's saying, when I clicked on the link, here's where I was at. When I clicked on the link, I didn't intend to buy anything because I had debts.
Okay, so here's what my, when I clicked on the link, my theory was that, so I have some debts that I'm clearing off now. By that I mean now, like I don't mean like a few months from now. So
now I got you.
I mean, so my point was that, okay, let's, to get myself familiarized, get to know the business model, how you guys do everything, and the fees, of course. And then obviously I was gonna figure that out and get back to you. But that being said, I don't mean I'm.
So what he's saying is he came in here for information to look at what we do and then take time and figure it out. Which again, my job as a sales rep, and if you're selling anything online, even if you're a coach who's running your own program, your job while selling is to not allow that thinking to exist. So, or allow them to operate through that thinking. So I don't mind if he didn't have an intention to come on here and buy. I don't care really whether he had that or not. I know that we can make him money and that I need him to commit to doing this so that he can leave making money. Because the longer, there's 2 options or 3 options for him not doing this. Either let's say we can make him money. 3 options exist. Either he will put it off and he'll do it later down the line, let's say in a month, which means that he burns time. He burns a lot of time. There's that option. That's number 1. Or he rationalizes his way out of doing it and makes no change and then comes back even further down the line and he's in a much worse position. Our prices are increased and then he's burned time and, our company's in a different place and we couldn't serve him now. Or number 3, he rationalizes his way out of it and doesn't do anything, which means that we cannot control or help him control having a better future. Maybe he will make a better future for himself. Maybe he won't, but I don't want that to be out of my control while I'm on a sales call. So I'm going to do everything in my power. If I believe I can help the person, I'm going to do everything in my power to damn well handle their objections, cook them, and get them making change. That's why we handle objections, and I'm totally okay with that.
I'm going to get back to you in a month because I do know that.
Get back to me in a month. So that's what the strategy he wants to do. The second one I said. I think it may have been the second. No, or the first one. Get back to me in a month. He wouldn't come back in a month if he, avoided making change. He would not, because life would happen and he would find reasons to not do it and put it off. Fast forward to age 60, life of regret. And again, maybe he would do something else, but I don't know. I can just control what I can control as a sales rep, as someone who's selling a service. So what I can control is what he does on this call.
Familiarize, get to know the business model, how you guys do everything, and the fees, of course. And then obviously I was going to figure that out and get back to you. But that being said, I don't mean I'm going to get back to you in a month because I do know that
By the way, we put on video in a second. He doesn't have a video. He doesn't do camera on this one. I'm on camera though, just so you're not staring at a screen of text.
Once you lose the momentum, then it's gone. At least that's.
And now he's telling me what he thinks I want to hear is you can't lose the momentum. You have no fucking momentum. And I said that with love, my friend. You have no momentum. There's no momentum because you are not making change. You have no business you're running in terms of our industry, which is what you said you wanted to do. You mentioned that you want to make money with us. So you have no momentum going. You're just gathering information. So what are you talking about? The momentum is gone. There is no momentum.
You know that once you lose the momentum, then it's gone. At least that's
100%.
the way it's been working for me.
You wrote, I know you wrote that on your form. You said tired of making excuses. You wrote that, and
Yep.
and that makes sense. So what's I guess in the time you want to take to step away, what's coming up for you there that you would need to do?
So here's what's interesting. Two Pats. I teach that you should go buy-in right now. What I teach in our protocols reps, and I put this on YouTube, is that right about now you should go buy-in, which means you should ask the prospect, do you feel before you step away, do you feel like we actually can help you to achieve XYZ goal? I already kind of have done those temp checks through the pitch, I should say, and I know that his answer to that is yes. So I'm not actually going to ask it because I want to save my time. So I'm not asking that question. I know the answer to it already. I know he feels we can help. So I'm not gonna go there. Technically I should. That is the correct protocol to use, but I don't. I just go right into handling the objection. But just as a heads up, you should do that. Okay. I take more risk and liberty though than I give to my reps because I can.
Just to see if I can kind of help and give clarity.
Yeah, so I just need to clear some debt off, because on my end, on my personal end, and once I do that, I'll definitely be back to I definitely want to do it. So I'll definitely.
So what he's doing is he's telling me that he's going to clear debt off like in a month. In a month, all his debts will be cleared off, and now he'll be ready to somehow invest like multi-four figures into this coaching program that he's never done before and is uncertain, has no idea how it works. Like, I mean, he knows how it works because I pitched him on it, but like this coaching program where he's never done it and he probably has a medium to high degree of uncertainty, and he just needs to clear debts. That's a mask. It's a mask. So let's cook it.
I definitely want to do it. So I'll definitely be. I would say my next.
Can I give you a bit of? No, not a problem at all. Not an issue. Can I?
With me diffusing, not an issue, man. Take your time. You're all good. And now I'm going to give him a perspective to handle the mask.
I definitely want to do it. So I'll definitely be. I would say my next.
Can I give you a bit of? No, not a problem at all. Not an issue. Can I give you a bit of a perspective? It's kind of a it's kind of a paradox, and I hear this a lot in here because I have a lot of these conversations. You stepping away to clear debt, which I know that you're aware that you've had that for a while.
Right.
This, if I'm being real, and I want you to just see my face instead of this screen. This process that you're looking at doing in this business is actually an investment that's a tool to help you clear the debt and to move.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Right.
So if I'm being real and to challenge you a little bit on it, the stepping away to go clear it is actually you addressing more of like the symptom of the problem, which is the lack of flexibility. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I guess the business owner.
So I've given the perspective. Now I didn't really use an analogy, but I did give a perspective, which puts when you're handling objections in sales, you want to use. I've said this before. You want to use perspectives to allow the prospect to wake up to the reality of how they're making decisions and view their decision-making process through potentially a different lens. So that's what I'm doing when I give a perspective here. He receives the perspective and he's like, you're right. You're completely right. And also based on the way I ran this call earlier, I'm not going to review the whole call now. I reviewed it actually in our protocols training. The way that I ran the call earlier, I had created a lot of buy-in and a lot of compliance. So I knew I had the liberty to just go for the jugular here. And I think I was running out of time because at this point when I was running on this offer, I was running my calls very long and I had back-to-back calls. So I was like, let me save myself some time here. And just go for the perspective and go for the close right now, which I do. But look at how I end this perspective. That's what the key is. You see how I end it. I don't end the perspective on me telling him, buy now, which is incorrect. You watch what I do.
Actually an investment that's a tool to help you clear the debt and to move.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Right.
So if I'm being real and to challenge you a little bit on it, the stepping away to go clear it is actually you addressing more of like the symptom of the problem, which has been the lack of flexibility. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I guess the business owner version of you who is making income and has a second.
So here's the next part of the training. Stick with me. I know it's been a long video. Maybe you came back and watched this in a part 2. The way that I'm closing the analogy here, in order to close analogy correctly in objections, and no one teaches this correctly because all these people they do not understand human behavior at an intimate level because they did not spend years traumatizing themselves like studying dating and relationships and communication when it comes to like attracting women, which is way harder than sales if you don't know how to do it. And then I learned that, and then I got into sales after that. So that's why I teach this shit, and I think I'm very, very good at it and understand human behavior at a very, very intimate level and how humans make decisions, starting with intimacy, and now it moved off intimacy to buying shit, which is much different than intimacy. Similar, but just different. So here's the principle, okay? Here's the psychology. When you use an analogy, you don't want to close the analogy off by asking the person for the big commitment to purchase. You want to ask them if they're willing to change the way they make decisions to fit with the perspective. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to ask him, so what does that guy do? He buys. No, I'm going to say, how does that guy think? How does he operate? What behavior set does he choose? I hint at he purchases, but I don't anchor hard to he buys. You need to buy, right? Because that wouldn't be the correct way to use this analogy. So I have to sneak the analogy in almost, or I use the perspective and I have to sneak in the he would buy, and you'll see how I do it.
What I mean? So I guess the business owner version of you.
Now I go identity, the version of you who has, because we talked about him wanting to be a business owner to have freedom.
I mean, so I guess the business owner version of you who is making income and has a second stream and diversifies, would the strategy be, let me get everything perfect and cleared first? Or would it be, let me get a little more aggressive, take more initiative on the front end so I can roll that into clearing the debt faster?
You see, I don't ask him to start the program. I say, what strategy would make sense for that guy? Because once he says the strategy, whatever one, I think it was the second one, the second strategy is what he should do, then I'll say, can I challenge you to do it? And then he does say yes, and I send him a link, then that shit declines, and we have to go deposit. But you get the idea.
Perfect and cleared first? Or would it be, let me get a little more aggressive, take more initiative on the front end so I can roll that into clearing the debt faster?
Right.
Which logic makes more sense?
Honestly, that is that's what I need to give a thought to. You know what I mean?
So he doesn't comply on it. He says, I need to give a thought to it. I don't want him to give a thought to it though.
And you said it right. Exactly.
What's the thought about it? Because
see, I don't go for the close again. I say, what do you need to think about? So this is what we call rinse and repeat. You close the door on the logic. The logic doesn't make sense that he's using, his flawed logic of, I need to pay off debt, then I can do this. Which again, I do respect where he's coming from. I understand it, but I don't agree with it, and I'm not going to back it or comply with it. I will not. So his logic, I do understand where he's coming from. I have empathy for it even, but I'm not going to validate it. I'm not going to allow him to run with that, right? So he says, so now what I've done is I've closed the door on the logic. I have, because he said, okay, I get it, and I need to go think on that. He agrees. I should have asked him, well, do you agree with it? And he would have said, yes, I needed to think on it. I didn't say that. Now I'm going to go, what do you need to think about? So we reopen the door to see what else is coming up, and you'll see I very quickly move him towards a close very fast. Probably faster than I should, but there's something really cool coming up that I do in a second.
The thinking about it is interesting, because what is there to think about and rationalize? The decision.
And he's silent. I wanted to, don't forget, we're playing at 1.5 speed. So look at this. Watch this. Look, we have something called value of decision. Look at how he sits in this decision making.
You're right. Exactly.
What's the thought about it? Because the thinking about it is interesting. Because what is there to think about and rationalize?
I heard nothing from him because I know I got him, and he's like, "You're right." So then I'm like, "Let's go deeper. Let's push him over the edge. Let's go even more."
Thought about it because the thinking about it is interesting. Because what is there to think about and rationalize? The decision of the initiative and the next steps and grabbing the tools.
And I don't think I clarified, but that's called value decision, when the prospect is sitting in this moment where you actually got them logically and they're wrestling, should I lean into this and actually like surrender to the new version of the new logical line that this person's giving me, which you as a sales rep or you as a coach consultant would give them. They sit and wondering, should I surrender to that and lean into it, or should I resist it and lean back into fear, or lean into the devil on the shoulder? In this case, I just was like, I'm not going to let him get out of this value decision without going yes. So I just jump in again and lead more and more aggressively on the call.
The decision of the initiative and the next steps and grabbing the tools and taking a step forward, that comes, and I say this respectfully, from information, not time. It's information, it's not time that changes the game for you and that changes your life. Sure. So what I would ask you is what's the information that would be missing that you would need to say, hey, I'm ready actually, and let's take an aggressive, proactive approach to making this happen without delaying it.
So you see, again, I don't go for a close yet. I say, what's the information you need and what's missing? That's it. That's all I say.
All the information is here.
No, information is here. Yep.
Yeah.
He's cooked. He's done. Now, Now, I do this actually technically incorrect, but I still go for it, and it paid off. I win this one. What I could do is go emotional crosswords. Do you deserve this? Does your family deserve this? Which we teach in protocols. If you don't know what emotional crosswords are, go watch one of my objection handling videos here on YouTube. One of the trainings I have in the sales training playlist. You could watch that, or you could go inside of our school community down below, quantum level, and come train with me, and I'll demonstrate this to you live on our once a week live trainings. Or you could book a strategy call if you really want to go deeper and have mentorship and training in your skills. When we train unlike anyone else in this entire space of sales, like we have the best sales coaching in the space in terms of how we train, the level of depth in which we train. We take it very seriously. As is the name of our program, we honor that. Protocols is what we do. So if that matters to you and you take it very seriously, go and book a strategy call. We won't sell you anything on the call. We don't pitch you, just a quick connection to see if we can help. Then we invite you to a demo call with myself or someone on the team. But here, I could go emotional crossroads, and I could give him like a, do you deserve it? Is there an emotional driver behind it? I think I skip it, and I just actually go right for close.
Say, hey, I'm ready actually, and let's take an aggressive, proactive approach to making this happen without delaying it. I think all the information is here.
No, information is here. Yep.
Yeah. What I would ask you, I would just ask two things. Number one, you having been in trucking, you having been in kind of a 9 to 5, maybe not 9 to 5, but this position where your time isn't yours.
Right.
Are you absolutely committed to doing the work to?
Hey, actually, I kind of do a little bit go emotional crossroads. I don't say do you deserve it, but I say are you committed to doing the work. So that's, you know what, I did do it. Good job, Tim. Good job sticking on protocol and actually doing this by the book for your people.
Aligned with getting out of that as quickly as possible. And I don't mean leaving the job, but I mean starting to have freedom. Are you aligned with the work that's involved?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other thing is the vision behind it.
Man, I really did. I did two. I did both. Amazing. I stuck on protocol. Good job, Tim.
Do you see a clear vision for, and this is not a light question, I ask it actually very heavy, but the life that you want to create where you've done something exceptional that most people haven't done, which is creative freedom, because you capitalized on like online income and built something scalable that's yours. Is that something that you see a vision with?
Yes.
Then what I would say, Goldie, and the challenge I'd make to you here is let's start and let's commit to it and push forward. Just the 25, nothing else. And then you go back and sort out debts and sort out whatever you have to, but having this tool on your side immediately and not delaying it any longer. That's what I would challenge you to do.
Okay. All right, but I still need to, figure out the funds. And
no worries about figuring out the rest. We can figure that out, and we will be flexible with how you split it. All I want is just the commitment of I'm in, and there's no more delays, and we're doing it. If that makes sense. So
yes.
that entry point, 25, it doesn't matter. Let's get that, and I will give you everything, give you the coaching, everything, and then in the next month, because you have 30 days to let me know where you're at. I have faith that you will figure the rest of it out, and that's not a problem. We'll be flexible with it, however we need to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's bring you in. I'm gonna send you, and I want to ask you one more thing, Goldie, because I know this has been a lot about you, but I want to make sure that you feel based on what.
So what I do here, okay, this is really important, and then I'll let you guys go because this is about the end of it. I ask him some logistical information and stuff. But the thing I would ask that's important here is I sense that he may not fully be there yet. And what a lot of closers, if you're not experienced or you're not very skilled, what some closers will do is they'll be excited now. Oh my God, okay, they're about to close. He's about to close. So then they'll jump in and say, like, let's start or whatever. They'll say, okay, let's begin. I'm going to put a link down here. I don't do that. Instead, I pull back and I say, I just want to be clear. Do you feel like we actually can help? And I actually go buy in and I temp check. Does he feel like we personally can help him? Because before I go into any space of closing, I need to make sure that he's not going to payment dip, which would happen if I didn't do what I'm about to do now. So I take a second. I don't get overexcited. I don't get excited that I'm just going to close. I pull back and I look at, is he going to payment dip? And I temp check and just check in with him. Look at the scripting and how I do it. I'll put it at 1.25 so we can see it a little easier. Watch this.
And that's not a problem. We'll be flexible with it however we need to. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's bring you in. I'm gonna send you, and I want to ask you one more thing, Goldie, because I know this has been a lot about you, but I want to make sure that you feel, based on what you've seen, do you feel like our process works? Because that's the biggest and most important thing.
It does.
Okay.
Like I said, the online store, do they run? No question about it. And if you have the right team with you, you're definitely a success. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
There we go.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the link here, and then I'm also going to connect you with your coach. So I'll send you a link to process the 2,500, and also I think I texted you.
Yeah, and then I ask this email, and we go to process, and it declines, and then I try a different thing, and he declines, and then I settle for a deposit. But you guys get the idea. Like this is really pure, simple objection handling. I actually did a better job on this than I thought I did. I thought that I was much more forceful and just broke all the rules, but instead I stuck closer to the rules. Amazing stuff here. I love it. I love the game. I love this process. Hopefully this had value for you. I'll give a little message to you outside of this screen recording, and then I'll let you guys go. Well, that was a lot, and I'm exhausted. I hope that made sense. I hope that all of the training and the breakdowns of the 3 calls are things that you don't only just see and get entertained by, as I always say, and say, oh, this is good sales stuff. I like sales. I'm a fan of sales. But you actually take this and use it to make yourself more money, because that's the reason I make these trainings. That's why I put this stuff out here for you to make more money, for you to change your life, whether this is you selling for your own business or this is you selling as a closer, as a sales rep online. Again, if you would like me or my team to help you and to help you make more money and to push you past where you're at now to making significantly more money, you can either go in for free, and we have a community down below. It's called Quantum Level, completely free. Well, everything on this that I'm offering you here is free, but you can start off with the free commitment, which is Quantum Level. We train once a week there, have small group sessions. Instead of Quantum Level, you can come hang out with me on Thursdays, and I'll run through objections, run through role plays with you, run through tactics and strategies designed to make you better at sales so you can either get hired and get an amazing role, perform better in the role you're in now, or just sell your own program better. Or what you can do is dive right in and book a strategy call with my team. And that's a 15-minute call. It's not a sales call, but it's a 15-minute call where we figure out exactly what you need. We don't pitch you anything. We'll ask you a couple questions to see exactly if we can help. And if we can't, we'll point you in the right direction to some resources that we have that could move the needle forward for you and make you some money. And if we can help, then we'll invite you to book a demo call from there with myself or another person on my team, where we'll talk about our training program and how that will make you more money over the next few months. Goodbye. Be blessed. Take care. Wake up. Implement everything we've gone through. Implement it. Take action. Move into a space of action taking, because that's what's going to change your life and put you in the best position to succeed going forward. I will see you on the next training. We have a lot of great stuff coming here on the channel. A lot of great stuff coming. Really good stuff coming up. All right. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. Go implement. Go use this. I'll see you soon.